Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the Sparkling Tuna Cup, the STC number 124. It's a lot of Tuna Cups. Your weekly dose of Open StarCraft. I'm Coach SI VIP. With him, I'm joined by these amazing players by the pool in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one all! Exclamation mark! Be in the chat to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The bracket is live. The bracket is stacked, and we are jumping into our first series of the broadcast. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Terran player, the red Terran player himself. It is Matrix. Matrixy. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner. The bottom right hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg player himself representing Stouty Balls. It is YoungYakov. Here we go, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamma time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Let's delve into our TVZ. Yeah, and again, welcome one and all, Pappy. It's been an intense week, tense week, of course. Last night we were live with the, we were live with the RSL over the weekend, of course, but last night we were live with the War TV Monday, and I did give an update regarding our bunnies, regarding Chi-Chi specifically, how basically right after RSL on Sunday we had to race her to the emergency room, and very little sleep was had. Very little sleep, very fatigued. I think today I've gotten 4 hours of sleep. I slept 2 hours in the morning and then 2 hours in the middle of the day, so at least I had a two hour nap, so I got a little bit of sleep, but very fatigued. But Chi-Chi, she's back with us. She has recovered. I did actually, if you remember, I did share a video last night after the War TV Monday broadcast, showing that she was recovering nicely at the hospital, and now she is back with us. So Esther Chi-Chi. So she's back. She's with us. She's still recovering. She's still definitely recovering. She's still not at 100%. Thankfully she is eating a little bit. She's eating, she's drinking, but in only small amounts. So she does require supervision and does require, more attention. Because of that, I was a little bit tentative about even casting the Tuna Cup this week, not gonna lie. There's a weekly open tournament, weekly Tuna Cup, of course. We will be doing something a little bit different today. Usually we cast both semifinals, but this week for this edition, because I don't really have as much free time to focus on the cast itself, both semifinals will be held at the same time. So it should be a bit of a faster bracket and a faster broadcast, or a shorter broadcast as a result of that. So we are going to be hosting both semis at the same time, just because I do want to make sure that I'm there for Chi-Chi just in case, just to help incentivize her eating, just to make sure that she doesn't get cold or anything like that, just because again, if she's eating less, that means that she has a lower body temperature and stuff like that, and I gotta be there for my Chi-Chi. So just as a heads up, it should be a bit of a shorter broadcast, as we have an accelerated bracket instead tonight. Just as a heads up. But otherwise, we're settling in. We're settling into our own ZVT. So far, so good. I will say that our Terran player here at Matrix is a bit more of an amateur player here, going for a straight up 1-1-1, a more aggressive build. You have my attention. Going for the add-on swap into reactor and helium production to be active on the map, to try to get a read on what YoungYakov is up to. So far, YoungYakov is playing standard, hatch gas pool into a third, droning up and saturating, but it is a Matrix instead who is going for the 1-1-1. With this, we can go for an earlier add-on swap into Banshee play. We can keep the tech up on the racks and go into earlier stim, into an armory, into Hellbats. There is aggressive options here for Matrix, bearing in mind there's no third TC, so aggression is on the table. There's the add-on swap. Overlord will poke in and does confirm the swap itself. So Yakov, he sees all, he knows all, is aware of what's going on. Behind this, still droning, still saturating. The Hellions have now hit the field. It's going to be on Matrix to move out across the map to get a read on what's going on, and to potentially even find some damage. Now, bearing in mind that Hellion production is continuing here, and again, I'm not ruling out the possibility of going for something like an armory. Not ruling it out. Meanwhile, Yakov going into Ling Bane. Heading into Ling Bane, back. Shame. See. We are still going to be rallying across. Rotating over towards the natural. Lings are in position. Queen's not so much. We're going for the dive. Yeah, it does go for the dive, and will attempt to break through the Zerglings. Going to be forced to kite back. Going to be losing 1, 2, 3. Hellions going to be going down. Oof, losing 4 Hellions even. 2 Hellions barely make it through into the main. And they will get some damage done. One more volley. Ooh, gets 2. Yeah, 2 drones get roasted. 2 drones for 6 Hellions. Ugh, that was not worth it. That was not worth it. And bearing in mind as well, very late third TC, late third expansion, we have earlier stim, we have continued Hellion production. That dive wasn't worth it. It was not worth it in the end here for our Terran player, for Matrix. He is building up more Hellions to try to hold his own. We at least have confirmation that it is going to be ByuN, not Mech, out of Matrix in the follow-up, at least the attempted follow-up. Again, Matrix is stuck at home. Hellions are revealed. Banshee as well. For our Terran player for Matrix. He's okay. Sorry. Just opening up the YouTube chat. Making sure we're all good. Making sure. So yeah, getting across the map again. The Banshee was revealed ahead of time, which means spores are ready. We have a spore in each mineral line. Third, the natural and the main. Queens, they rotate over to keep up. Overseers on the way. So far, Yakov is able to keep up. He's able to hold his own, maintaining that economy. And what I'm most curious by is if we commit into an all-in here. So far, we're building up to 5 Raxes. We'll soon be claiming the third base, but again, the third base is incredibly late for our Terran player. Because it's so late, do we throw down extra Raxes and do we commit on a 3 bases? That's what really I'm going to be looking at here. Whether we go for a 3 base all-in or whether we try to macro into a longer game. Is building up. Likewise, spreading creep, getting comfortable, joining up towards 75. We finally do have our Terran player being active, but again, after the earlier losses, Yakov has been free to join up quite heavily. We could have seen a little bit of greedier play here out of Yakov. As we run into the Bailings, not like this. I mean, with that, the drop goes down. There's not much at home to defend. Tanks are exposed. He wants the tanks. He wants them. He's going to get both. Bailings able into the mineral line. Brutal connections. They take down the entire mineral line here. All the SVs do go down. There is a bunker, but alas, it barely does stand strong. 2 tanks did end up falling. Reinforcements as well. And Matrix is being broken. He's being broken here and now. We have a couple of Hydras waddling in. We're still lacking Hydra upgrades, as these are vanilla Hydras. So Yakov overextending a little bit here towards the end. It does overextend. He's going to calm down and back off and build back up. But he has crippled. He has crippled Matrix. He has crippled the Terran. We have 15 SCV kills, critical damage, 3 tanks, 14 Marines, 11 Hellions. And now we can just back up, build up, and go for another push. Time to do it again. Time to do it again, Pappy. Yakov, he is rebuilding. I will say that Yakov, it took him a little bit too long to get up to 85 workers, so the economy here is a little bit lackluster, but overall, YoungYakov, he can now fixate and focus on purely Lingbane Hydra. And now here comes the second wave. And this time there's how much less to defend for the Terran. Okay, they roll in, they break through the wall. Oof, bust into the mineral line. Yakov trickling in. Oh no, no splits! No splits, master connections. Bailey's a smash into the bio. And it looks like, once again, Matrix will barely hold on, but we'll lose most of his SCVs in the process. We'll lose his SCVs. Once again, more Lings trickle in. Ling Hydra does barely outtrade. This time, at least the tanks did survive, but I can't say the same for that mineral line. So even though on the one hand the Terran player is surviving these attacks, the reality is the Zerg player is rebuilding, remaxing. The Zerg player can afford these trades. The Terran cannot. Terran player cannot. As now we're getting ready for game. So sorry for wave number 3. This time there are 3 tanks in position. The SimCity here is looking decent, and the wall has been rebuilt. But the reality is, YoungYakov has full map control. Just full, complete map control here. So we do pull away from the mineral line. SCV Zervac. Oh no! The SCV Zervac away, but the CC goes down. We just kill the CC itself. Command set of pulls. Not many links here with the Lingbane Hydra army, but we are getting on top of the tanks. Catching up 2 tanks. Ooh, Banelings into the mineral line. Catching up more SCVs. Another tank goes down to 1. Down to 0. Barely 0 tanks left. Ay. That was wave 4, right? Like time for round 5. Fabulous. Let's go. Let's go. They continue. Let's commence into this full. Once again, we have Lingbane trickling in, so not the best connections, as most of the Banelings do go down. Yakov behind us, the Hive is done, getting into Adrenal, +2, or 2 upgrades even on the way. And I think this should be the final push here. Like at this point, there's no economy, no reinforcements. Hydras, they start to step in, they get 1 more tank. What a mess! The final tank goes down. And finally, the Terran has been broken here. Again, it was just a really rough start to begin with to lose map control. GG gets called, and YoungYakov takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG well played. Yakov does take lead in the series. Once again, winding it back, it was just a really rough start for our Terran player here to go across the map to dive with his Hellions and to lose every single one. It was not worth it. He killed 2 drones for 6 Hellions. Likewise, we saw that he went for a 1-1-1 build, which meant his third base was naturally delayed as well. So just a really shaky mid game there from our Terran player, and YoungYakov was more or less free to join up. I will say that it took him a little bit long to join up to 85, but it felt like he was maybe a little bit scared of an all-in. So Yakov, he was adverse to joining up too much. That's why we saw the big spike and the big quote-unquote max out. I mean, he never did max out with that big push. A little bit more delayed than we expected. So it was a little bit more delayed. As Yakov does get the first game in the series, and we'll see if he can extend his lead and claim the series itself as we're going to be loading into the Old Republic. Once again, Yakov is coming as the favorite player, but our Terran player can hold, I mean, was able to at least, weather the storm somewhat. And we'll see what else they have up their sleeve. We'll see. We'll see. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the red Terran player. Hold on. Can I fix this? Ah, we have a red Terran player. We have the red Terran player himself. It is Matrix. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the blue Zerg player himself, representing Team Stony Balls. It is YoungYakov. Senor Yakov back. See. Let's go. Let's go. So now we are going to we're going for a pool first build this time. Interesting. Yeah, my attention does go for the earlier spawning pool. With this, we can turn this into a more aggressive build. We'll keep an eye on the gas timing, of course. We'll keep an eye on the gases. We'll keep an eye on the build itself. Optimizer on Yakov. So go, we have our gas being taken as Yakov does expand. But again, earlier pull means earlier lings across the map. We can get 6 lings, we can try to sneak out and try to delay the expansion. Especially if there's no SCV scouts. Speaking of. Oh, okay. My assumption was early ling, but I mean, it is going to be the early 6 lings, but we have a roach horn behind this. Yakov is going for the all-in. He's going for the all-in. And usually this would be scouted. Unfortunately, again, our Terran player, no SCV. No SCV across the map, no early game scouts. He's waiting and relying on the Reaper scout instead. This is quite greedy for the Terran, and that means he's going to be caught with his pants down. That means that these lings are moving out, and he won't have any heads up as to the fact that there are lings on the map. Otherwise, usually we'd have an SCV scout. The SCV would confirm the late expansion, would confirm the early pool, and would actually allow for the Reaper to stay at home to defend the mineral line, to defend the natural. That's not happening here. It's not happening. Reaper moves out, lings are moving in. As the Reaper is spotted by the Overlords. Lings, they should force a cancel. And the Reaper, does he turn around or does he get a full scout? Oh, he turns around. Oh, God. It's a hard call to make. No, the Marine misrallied down to the low ground. Marine goes down, massive pickoff. Reaper races back home, and what does that mean? That means the Reaper doesn't check at the main and doesn't confirm the roaches. Roaches are coming. Here comes the all-in. And Matrix has no idea. He has no idea, Pappy. Ay. He's distracted by the Zerglings. And CC's being rebuilt. Roaches are coming. Ooh, and we're going for a reactor into Tech Lab. There are 0 units here. There's only the Reaper. Just pure add-ons. Yeah, pure add-ons. Roaches are waddling in. They get spotted, they get confirmed. With the Tech Lab, we can start the Cyclone, of course. The boys don't get surrounded. Oh, nice snipe. Yeah, nice snipe of the Reaper. I mean, that's all the army units. And this is critical damage. Critical damage here. There are no units left, only SCVs. And they're going down. That's going to be 11, 12. 12 SCV kills. Marines get focused. Quick morph into there, the Ravager, and GG. GG gets called. YoungYakov, he will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations to YoungYakov. My condolences to our Terran player here. Unfortunately, again, winding it back, Matrix did not SCV scout, so he had no ideas to the initial opener, the initial build. Again, typically an SCV scout will give you the information of at least an early pool timing. Won't necessarily scout the gases and won't. It might also scout the gases, and it might confirm the Roach Warren, considering how early the Roach Warren was. So there was a chance that the SV Scout might have even seen a little bit more there, but would have at least confirmed the early pool timing and would have forced a more defensive setup. Unfortunately, again, it was a delayed scout, well, I mean, it was a Reaper scout instead, and the Reaper didn't even scout, unfortunately. The Reaper did not go all the way into the main base, didn't give any information as to what the follow-up was, only knew of the early pool, did not know of the early roaches, and back at home there was no safety bunker. Typically, how do you defend against this? Once you realize something's wrong, you get a safety bunker on the high ground. You give up on the low ground. Give up on the low ground. You can finish the CC and just lift the CC if you so wish, and just get your bunker on the high ground and secure the high ground instead. It was also unfortunate that the first Marine was rallied to low ground, if you remember. The Marine was rallied to low ground and it did fall to the early lanes. GG. GG, well played. But with that, YoungYakov does claim the series, and we're going to be catching up with the bracket itself. Let's go. Exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Let us go, as we do have a couple of updates already. From the top, we have herO. herO is up against Roxas in the second round. Let's go. Roxas takes down Webmax in the round of 32, as we do have Roxas versus herO in the round of 16. We have Hackers Top versus Rex. Honestly, that's a spicy series. Wish them both the best of luck, as they're currently mid-series. We have Percival versus Sam Marcel. Winner goes up against YoungYakov. That is the main reason why we jumped on this series, is to follow Yakov into potentially Percival, as those are the more likely players in the quarterfinals. Scrolling down, we have Classic. Classic takes down CranKy 2-0. We have Percival versus Demi in the first round, in the round 16. Old Demi though, Smooch. Este Demi, Great to see him, by the way. Great to see him here. Great to see him competing. Best of luck, Demi versus Percival. Scrolling down, we have ByuN. ByuN gets a walkover win over Lee Jen. And ByuN is already up against Nickrat. And Nickrat takes down Solicitous 2-0. And we have a TVT in the lower quarterfinals. Oh boy. So the bracket is progressing. The upper half of the bracket is going to take a little bit longer, I'm sure. But something that I didn't mention previously, if you recall, is that we will be having an accelerated bracket this week. We'll be covering, both semifinals will be happening at the same time. Usually they're one by one after the other. And technically that might line up for us here. It's true. We might get like the lower semis faster and the upper semis slower. But for the most part, we won't hold them like we usually do. Again, for tonight's broadcast, I don't have as much time just because there are some personal things that are occurring, of course, in regards to my pet bunnies. So I have less free time available here, or less time to dedicate to a broadcast. So accelerated broadcast back. Let's go. Otherwise, we're just gonna chill. We're gonna wait for a series to open up. Percival is still, of course, mid-series versus Samosel. It's catching up in the bracket. Oh, sorry, catching up in the chat. Can YoungYakov escape the Matrix? Pretty sure you've heard this, but thank you for doing this wonderful and detailed and meaningful SN2 casting. You sir are the caster's caster. Thank you, Holy Lime. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. We appreciate the kind words. Appreciate it. Yes, yes. Every now and then, we do get some kind words from the chat. So thank you. Do appreciate it. Speaking of, big shout out to No Screen in the chat as well for subscribing with Twitch Prime for almost a year support, 11 months. God, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Thank you, Light. Thank you, No Screen. Thank you. De nada, baby, de nada. But yes, we just got an update. Rex takes down Hackers Top 2-0, so Rex is also in the next round. Again, you can see that for the most part, the first round is wrapping up, and we'll soon have our second round opponents. We'll get there. We will get there. But otherwise, we are going to be going on a very short break. And when we come back, we'll have our next series. We'll have our next best of 3. Again, it should be Yakov versus Percival. But again, shout out to Samosel. You know, there's always potential for upsets. So best of luck. Again, the top seed in this tournament is herO. herO is the #1 seed. We have Classic as #2. It's all about, can we stop the PvP finals? Can we stop herO from facing off against Classic? Boy, we'll do our best. We'll take best of luck to Demi, Percival, ByuN, Nickrat, Yakov, Percival, Rex, Samosel. Best of Ruxus, true Ruxus as well. Best of luck to everyone. Can we stop the PvP finals? But otherwise, we're going to be going on a short break, and we'll see you guys soon after the break. See you soon, baby. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST. I do apologize for the delayed break, but now we have returned. We have our next series. The entirety of the round 16 has concluded, by the way, and we have all the quarterfinals now underway. They're all underway. Here we go. We are jumping into our fresh best of 3, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the blue Terran player. The blue Terran player himself. We have the South Korean Terran. It is Percival. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself, representing Stowny Bulls. It is YoungYakov. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our best of 3 and getting into this. Oh, as I should fix up the in-game names. Un momento. Bam, there we go. As we get into our fresh best of 3, and coming into this, I'll be honest, it's gonna be a difficult matchup to call. YoungYakov and Percival, I would say they're both very close in skill. When I think of the up-and-coming Terran and Zerg players respectively in the realm of StarCraft, I do think of these two players, right, where they're on the cusp of breaking out into the upper echelons of pro play. They're both on the edge. They've both been getting some better and better results, especially over the past couple of months, and I think I lean a little bit more towards Percival. I did think I lean a little bit in that direction, but at the same time, I also have to recognize that Percival, I would say his TVZ is his weakest matchup. What we've seen is his Terran versus Terran has been improving so much over the past half a year, especially his matches against ByuN and against Kira and against Bunny, against all the other Korean Terrans. Percival, his TVZ has been on point. Likewise, his TVP is his best matchup. I mean, because he's hyper aggressive in it, sure, you know, often shorter games, but Percival, he does cause a lot more upsets against Protoss more than anything. Against Zerg, he's had some decent showings, especially against Shin. I'm still reminded of his Shin series, where Shin was heavily reliant on Mutaplay and even on Roach Links as well, but Shin is a very unique player. Like, Shin is very chaotic and very unique, and again, like, I don't think we can really judge how a player performs against Shin and really extrapolate that onto other Zerg players. Like, Shin is very, very unique. He's very Shin is very Shin. So we have seen Percival take it to Shin at times, 100%, but against other Zerg players, we'll see. We shall see. As we are settling into our TVZ. So far, standard opener, the Reaper does rush across the map, behind this going to the factory, and from here we can decide to go into a faster starport or a third CC. So now Reaper does break in. Yakov joining, saturating. Queen's popping out. The Reaper does bypass the Queens, heads for the mineral line. But Lings are likewise able to keep up. Ooh, the Reaper extends. Ay, that should not have happened. The Reaper goes down, and the Reaper killed one Ling, only a singular Zergling. The bait was real, and YoungYakov shuts him down. So better start here for Yakov. Behind this, Percival is now in the dark as to what's going on. We can see that we are not pulling into gas, doing anything too crazy. Oh, and I have to eat my words here. Early Evo Chamber. Interesting. Early Chamber typically means early +1 carapace, and this can lead into an early +2 carapace timing. But that is not normal. Ling's a poke in. He wants the Marine. The Marine does start step well, and the Marine should survive. Nice control. As Yakov is a little bit wasteful here. Marine does survive, we'll be able to deny the scouts. Hellions do push, and my apologies, that is not carapace, that is +1 melee. Huh. you have my attention. I'm not used to seeing this. I'm not used to seeing fast +1 melee, especially in TVZ. So with the earlier upgrade, I'm curious if YoungYakov even plans on going to Banelings. We could just see Mass Ling into Infestor. But even then, I feel like carapace is ideal, is better in that kind of position. Huh. Okay. Okay, Yakov. Let him cook, baby. Let him cook. Show us what you got. Behind this, Percival going for the third CC. Third CC into his own 3-1-1 setup. A bio follow-up here. We have Stim on the way. Light commitment into Hellions, only 4. Only 4 Hellions before going for the switch. Meanwhile, we do have the safety Bailey Nest out of YoungYakov. Going for the safety nest. Overlord does scout the Raxes at least. Does confirm the bio. Does confirm the timing is where the third CC. So Yakov, he saw all that he needed to. Did see all. Yakov still joining back at home. Plus some melee is almost done. And we are embracing a longer game state here. As I mentioned before, this does lead into, of course, earlier +2 potentially as the layer is finishing up, but a Carapace is just the go-to, especially against Bio. Like, I'd be shocked if we skipped it. Wait, triple Robo? Sorry, triple Evo Chamber? Wait, what? What is happening? We're going for 1-1-1. There's a Carapace. Throws down 2 Evo Chambers. Interesting. Huh. Okay, Senor Yakov, okay. I guess the added benefit here is just really fast +2, right? Like, +2 is a very fast here for YoungYakov. So he's gonna have that +2 timing. Yep, starts +1 range as well, so he's going for 2-1-1 when it comes to the upgrades. Okay. Oh, the upgrades. Of course, range is indicative of Hydra tech, so we should be seeing a Hydra Den soon. Speaking of, there it is. There is that Hydra Den. Percival does move out. Bearing in mind he has Stim, and +1 will finish up in the middle of the fight. +1 is on the horizon. Oh! Lings, they collapse in for this round. Not quite able to, though. 2 Hellions do barely get away. Queen does fall. Oof. As Percival is gaining ground. Remember, Bailing speed is not done. And it's going to be difficult to engage into these 2 tanks, especially into the choke point. Yakov, he goes for it. He tries to. Gets one, gets only 1 tank, and Percival, he's done it. Percival, he breaks through the main army, he breaks the expansion, the drones, they try to escape, but that's going to be 5. It's going to be almost 6 dead worker kills, and the 4th base falls. Yeah, massive pickup. The 4th base goes down, he can scan, he can deny all this creep, he can just keep on pushing, and Yakov is hurting here. Again, the early +1 melee was not worth it. I mean, all the upgrades as well was quite greedy. Was all quite greedy. Nice split here against the Bailings. Oof. Bailing connects towards the end. And Yakov is barely holding. Barely holding on. Cleans up the army. But again, this was still worth it for Percival. To break the expansion, to get the mineral line as well. Percival is in a stronger position. Even on workers. Even on bases. Remember, Yakov's 4th base is not saturated. And this is a shaky mid-game hit for YoungYakov. Now, what's important, though, is that he doesn't die. And all the upgrades did finish, by the way. Like, the upgrades are finishing up. So, Yakov, he will have that advantage. As he gets into 2-2-2. Okay. The reason why, so it's very rare to see this many upgrades this quickly, just because, I mean, again, I feel like it's not necessarily something that is as impactful, specifically the Hydra upgrades or the range upgrades as well. But we'll see. I mean, typically, if you're investing this heavily into range upgrades, then I believe we should be working towards lurkers once the hive is on the way. But the question is, does YoungYakov survive into lurker tech? Because the reality is that Percival, because he killed the 4th base earlier, Percival, he has so much momentum, he has a better economy, that translates into a larger army. And for the Terran player to be up in army supply compared to the Zerg, I mean, that is detrimental. Like, I don't know if YoungYakov can ever defend his bases. Things are looking dire here for the Zerg. Now, there are ways to recover, there are ways to bounce back. If he can catch out all these Marines, if the Banelings can crash in, then there is a chance. Ooh, God, the mine shots are brutal. The mine shots! Oh, the Banelings do connect though. Yeah, Banelings, they catch out part of the army. Very nice Baneling connections. Percival, he does not split. The splits were not there. Yakov is holding. Okay. I mean, that's the one kind of way here to bounce back for YoungYakov is if Percival does miscontrol, right? If he miscontrols, if he takes some bad fights, Then Yakov can recover. We just need more of that. We need if we can do that one more time, then we can look to take a lead. Mine drop on the left hand side, and Yakov does react. Yakov pulls away up. Does pull away. Very quick moves out of Yakov. Yeah. Calm down. Oh, I switch as soon as 5 drones go down here at the third. 5 drone kills in total. Infestors are on the way. With a couple of well-placed fungals, Yakov can take a fight. As fungals coming in. Oh, big connection. Big connection here from Yakov. Starter steps in, catching out the medevacs. Fungal does graze the army. A bit of a waste towards the end there. But Yakov is holding. Oh, brutal mind connection. Mind shot goes off, but Yakov does hold onto the ramp. Does defend. So that's a lot of Hydras. And that momentum that Percival had earlier, he's lost it. At this point, he has lost that momentum. He still does have the advantage. I still do prefer Percival's economy, more so than Yakov's. That is true. It's a very strong economy here for Percival. But the fights have been difficult. They've been less than ideal. Oh. Oof. Yakov does try to engage. It does snipe 2 of those Widow Mines. Vipers are popping out. Now, again, I'm a little bit surprised to see there is no Lurker Den here. We're getting into 3-3-3 upgrades. Oh, I say that plus 3 melee was never researched. Interesting. So no plus 3 melee. I mean, it is a lot more Hydra heavy, to be fair. A lot more Hydra heavy, but oh, it is not going to be Lurker. It's going to be Ultra. So the lack of plus 3 melee is going to come into play. That will hurt YoungYakov. We need the upgrade pack. Do you think it's one of those things where Yakov, he kind of forgot about this 3rd Eva chamber and he just like actually he just oh, there we go. Now it's on the way. It's delayed, but it is coming. Under the Viper. Oh, calm down. Survives, never mind. Yakov keeping up with the drops. Catching up the medevac. Spire is on the way, so we're taking up in both directions. But no Lurker Den, of course. Just Ultras and a Spire. The game is slowing down. We're slowing things down, Pap. Shout out to the Changeling. Changeling does spot the army. Denying the expansion. No! Massive mine shot. Widow Mines to connect. No Ultra production yet. Yakov is still working on plus 3 melee. Catching out the army. Shows that power bomb. Fungal doesn't quite land. Nice power bomb though nonetheless. Oof. As the medevacs do get very low. Now what's scary though is that Percival, he's now starting to turtle up. What do you see here? We see siege lines, planetaries, more factories, missile turrets, sensor towers as well, all over the place. Percival, he's just turtling up and changing the pace of the game here, slowing things down. So the goal for Percival is to perfect his army, is to get into a ideally mech ghost composition. So a heavy tank, liberator, and ghost count is the ideal. And he's established here on 5 bases. 6 CCs on the way. Oh. Takes some fungal. Nice trades here from Yakov. Collapsing on the fire. Taking rotors, denying a CC. Not bad. This is very cavalier here. That's a little ghost. Oh no! The ghost! Fungal lands! And do we get them? We get 1, 2. Oh, Oh my god, the Medivacs, they barely don't get away. Yeah, that's what, 4 or 5 ghosts falling, even more Medivacs. Ay, barely Medivac does get away. Oof. As Viper is punished. But again, that was how many ghosts? That was 4. 4 ghosts going down. And 3 Medivacs. Again, Percival did overextend. He got caught with his pants down. Bad. He got caught. As Yakov is building up to his own greater spire into Broodlord tech, if need be. Bearing in mind that he has the Ultra Cavern, but he never did invest. I mean, it makes sense. At this point, because the game has slowed down heavily here, Ultras are less effective, and it would be time to go into Broodlords. Nice snipes. Gets one. Gets both Vipers. Oof. Oh my god. Might shall say rush in. A bit of an awkward fungal as well. He wants the ghost, he does not get them. Yeah, messy fight here from Yakov. The ghost to survive. In the end, he got a couple of Marines, he got a tank, 2 tanks even. But the ghosts persevere. And now you have Ultras. I'm still not entirely convinced. Ultras, they can break through certain siege lines, especially if there isn't really much to defend. They can get choked up though. Ultras, they have a stronger presence like when the map is open. When the army's out in the open instead. Nice EMP on the Viper, and nice EMP on the Infestor as well. Hides back against the Ling Bane, but the CC should fall. Alas, no, he doesn't get it. Oh my god. The expansion survives. Ay. Saves the CC, throws down his wall of turrets. Yakov, the Ultras are here. He's got his upgrades. He has Ultra Speed, Kindness Plating. And we'll see if he can break through. I will say this area is a little bit more open here than the right-hand side. Lings are, yeah, a little bit overzealous. Fungal does land. And we collapse in. They're collapsing in the army. Can we get on top of the ghosts? Blinding Cloud on the planetary. And the ghosts do kite away. Yeah, they kite away well. The ghosts, they should take down every single Ultra. Yeah, massive snipes. Ultras go down and Percival holds. As I mentioned, like, I'm not really too fond of Ultras in this kind of position here, as they all do full. Now we have the Broodlord transition, but YoungYakov is burning through his bank. Again, that was a very strong fight for Percival, and base is going down. Now, the scariest thing that we could see here this game is for Percival to take more bases. He's already on 6 expansions, by the way. Like, that's already enough to build up a bank. And you can see that Percival technically has a larger gas bank than his opponents, which shouldn't be happening. But he has been more efficient. And these 2 expansions here, if Percival gets them up and running, I mean, that might just be game. Like, typically the Zerg player needs to be up bases compared to the Terran. That's not happening. The Zerg player's advantage should be that bank, and that's not going to be the case here. None of these bases fall under control of the Terran. So Yakov is in a very rough position here. Here comes the Broodlord switch. How many Infestors? 3. 3 Infestors. It's not many. Technically, you can take a good fight with 3 Infestors as long as they don't get EMP'd, right? The issue here, of course, is with the low Infestor count is that, hey, that many less EMPs have to connect. So this army is quite heavily reliant here on these Infestors. The goal would be for the, as we scan the Broodlords, scan the Infestors as well. The goal would be for the Broodlords to lay siege upon one of these bases to force the Ghost to react, and ideally to fungal the Ghost. Here we go, 5 Infestors on the way. That's more like it. Speaking of, ghosts are moving in. As you mentioned, the goal is to lure out those ghosts with the broodlords and to try to catch them with the infestors. Here come the ghosts. Ghosts move in. Spots the infestors, shows CMP. Up. He spots the infestors. Snipes going up. Gets one. Gets two. Fungal does graze the army. Nice EMP. But we do land a second fungal. And there's one fungal left. Does barely land. Big connection. Ghosts are falling. Gets two, I believe. Only two. Yeah, that was three. That was three ghosts going down. And with that Percival, he will hold. The army has to be respected. Yeah, the ghost age just blew back the army. At the same time, center left is going to be going down. As we mentioned before, YoungYakov, he's at a deficit. Like, he straight up, he just is at a deficit. He has a weaker main army, and the bases on the fringe are going down. And Percival is double expanding. As I mentioned, like, this is the nail in the coffin. Like, for the Terran player cannot take these expansions. And he is back. The bases are being taken. This means that YoungYakov does not have the bank lead, of course. He has a mineral bank, that is true, but bearing in mind that technically Percival, he has those resources, they're just still in the patches themselves. But they're under control of the Terran. That's what's important here. He has control of these patches, not the Zerg. Yakov, he's running out. Now, there's still, like, even though Percival does have a big lead or has a big advantage over his opponent, it still comes down to the main fight, right? With these infestors, and now we have 7? Question mark? 8. Now we have 8 infestors. With these 8 infestors, there is always a chance here that the ghosts get caught. All it takes is one bad fight, one bad move. If Percival, if he overextends with this army, if he does get caught by a fungal, then he could lose everything here. And that's what YoungYakov is hoping for. If he can catch out these ghosts, then he can just keep pushing and knock down some bases. Speaking of, Ultras, they take down the planetary, ghosts are out of position, or I should say they're stuck here with the broodlords. So nice run by here with the Ultra. Center base goes down. Again, the broodlord infestor, they're tying up the ghosts. Percival getting a little bit adventurous. Oh gosh. Do we have any corruptors? 5. Fungal does not land. Yo, these ghosts are clumping up pretty hard. Like, we gotta be careful, man. Cuidado. Speaking of, the infestor is shocking in. No, he gets spotted. Yeah, he does get spotted by the turrets. Fungal comes in. We do graze the army. Yeah, too far back. The army's too far back. Oh, as Percival does run into banelings. We have more corruptors amassing for Yakov. A couple of Ultras are going to be thrown away. Percival was rotating. And now he's got his Thors. Thors are here. We mentioned before at the beginning that the ideal late game composition is Mech Ghost, and we still have a little bit of ByuN in the mix. Like some Marines, some Marauders. But now we have the heavy Thor Liberator Count army with Vikings. Now moving in. Fungal does connect here, just maiming the Vikings. And Percival looking to gain some ground. Nice Fungal. The army's coming. Oh no! Yeah, Fungal does land. Ghost getting caught out. No snipes. Oh, another Fungal. Yeah, the Fungals, they cover everything. Ultras are moving in. Ghosts, they barely get away. The Ghosts do pull out, but that was a messy fight here from Percival again. He just clumped everything up. We gotta stop clumping, Pat. We gotta... Yakov, he's burning through his gas bank here, making 8 more Broodlords. It's gonna be a lot of Broodlords. Looking at the Viking, I believe the Viking was reset. Not quite. Okay, 6. He's got to rebuild his Vikings, rebuild his Thors. Nuke does lead the charge. Once again, this still is quite tense. Still comes down to this main fight engagement, this main army engagement. I mean, kind of. Like, the problem is that this is more crucial for YoungYakov. Yakov, he's not just engaging here with his army, he's protecting his mining bases. Like, center right, top right, the center left, or center right, I should say. These 3 bases, they're the most important here for YoungYakov. Percivals are on the other side of the map. Like, they're safe. So there's a lot more on the line here for the Zerg player. If they lose this fight, they lose their economy. They lose the game, just straight up. As these bases will fall. So Yakov, he has to stand his ground. There we go, does go for the counterattack. Not much at home to defend. Nice run by. Vikings are in a way. Meanwhile, the planetary does go down. Again, nice run by here by YoungYakov. Takes down 13 SCVs. And ideally, Yakov, he wants a distraction. Like, he wants Percival to peel off some supply. To peel off supply. To set up here on the other side. And to defend with a portion of his army instead. But you can see that Percival, he's not really flinching. Like, he's responding with, like, 2 ghosts. As center expansion goes down. Reloads coming in. Oh! Forcing friendly fire. Almost getting a Thor. Both Thors are low. Going for another ultra run by, going for another planetary. As the first planetary does hold its own. But the second does not actually fall. Okay. Percival is holding his own, gaining ground. Going for the mass neural. Does catch two Thors. And 2 Thors getting caught out. Nice moves here by Yakov. He does hold the line. Trying to hold on. How many corruptors are we? Okay, 15. So we've got a very healthy corruptor count. And Percival has to be so careful not to overextend. If he does push too far forward, he will be fungled. So it's a very slow advance here from Percival.
Game paused.
hopefully everything's okay. Very, very quickly here, once... ping is spiking. So hopefully it does even things up. Now what's crucial here is that on the one hand, both players did quote-unquote trade bases. That is true. Percival does have a larger gas count though, a larger gas bank, and there's a higher chance that Percival retakes his base. Right? The reality is that because both armies are centralized here on the right hand side, it means that Percival, he most likely will be able to freely take this expansion without too much issue. As we mentioned before, YoungYakov, he's fighting for his life. Like, he's fighting for his life here. He cannot lose more ground. He cannot lose these bases. I mean, even then, there's not really many patches left. YoungYakov, he's soon going to run out of resources. Like, he barely has any patches remaining here. Meanwhile, this base can now soon become a Terran expansion. There we go.
Game resumed.
So again, there's a lot of pressure on Yakov. He's on a mission. Oh. Okay, snipes the Thor. You trade. One ghost goes down. Another snipe. I was waiting for an EMP. Oof. Losing another ghost. Another ghost goes down. Percival, yep, slowly setting up this position, as we mentioned, setting up turrets, sensor towers. He wants this expansion. Fungal just grazing the army. Oh, careful. As they try to snipe, they try to shock in. Oof, snipes popping up, getting 1, 2, 3, 4 Broodlords. Yeah, a lot of Broodlords are full, and Yakov is just bleeding out too much. He's bleeding out far too much. He cannot engage. Neuros here on the Vikings. Interesting choice. I mean, he gets something. More creepers being denied. And there's that CC. Yeah, the command center is coming. Again, top right is mined out. There's one patch left top right. We have a handful of patches left here in the center. He's getting rounds. Sniping 1, 2 Corruptors. Yeah, Corruptors, they just keep falling. Da-da! Yeah, messy engage. Morphing in more Broodlords. That's a little bit risky. If you're looking here, that's going to be what? 9 more Broodlords? We only have 3 Corruptors left. There's not a lot of anti-air against a heavy Viking count. Happy. We're going too far. Oh no! Yeah, Yakov is over making Broodlords. He's up to 16 Broodlords and he has 3 Corruptors. 3 Corruptors. He's heavily reliant on these spores. Heavily reliant on the spore fungal, of course. The Liberators, they do set up. You can see Percival just wedging himself in between these expansions. Now, thankfully, top right is completely mined out. They want that mining base. Again, I don't see a world where because they're so heavily reliant on these spores, how do the Broodlords ever push in? Like, with such a low Corruptor count, they can't. Nice round by. Once again, Ling Ultra towards bottom left. Base goes down. Percival, he has almost 10,000 minerals in the bank. Oh god. As he mentioned, like, Percival, he's been mining more. Like, he's had the better economy. We tried to emphasize that earlier. That's why he's got the larger bank. One of the reasons. Oh, nice. Oh, EMP! The counter EMP, Pappy. Okay. Dark, is that you? Dark, he's back from the military. Yeah, nice reroll on the goes. There's still a lot of energy left though. Snipes on the Corruptors. Fungal does land, but is there a follow-up? The answer is no. Yeah, despite the fungal. No follow-up back. Yeah, the base is denied. Okay, what kind of mining do we have here for YoungYakov? We got one patch. We got one patch in the center of the map. We got one patch on the left. I mean, to be fair, Yakov did mine as much as he could out of the expansion, almost everything. There's 25 minerals left. But Percival has this base. Remember, we spoke about this. He just took a fresh, or a quote-unquote fresh expansion, and he still has these center bases as well. You can see Yakov trying to take them himself, but he cannot. No shot. Oh, they're going for the neurals. Yakov, he commits. He's going for it. He apes in. Rushing to all of Thor's. Nice Lightning Cloud. But the Vikings, they just go to town. Nice Parabomb. Ghost to get zoned away, they're not a part of the fight. Yeah, Ghost are being forced further back. A messy engage here, but again, there just isn't enough anti-air. Vikings, they zone away the Corruptors. And the Ghost survived. Yeah, the Ghost did survive. They were able to kite back. And again, look at the banks. That's all that matters here. Look at the resources. As Percival can rebuild and remax, and Yakov cannot. Yakov has no money. He has no resources left. Does clean up all the Vikings. Oh no, no detection. There's no detection. ByuN gets one more ghost. And Percival, he has production. Okay, we got 4 infestors. We got 4 infestors on the way. YoungYakov is long distance mining as we speak. And Percival rotates. This is a correct move. Remember, top right doesn't matter. Top right doesn't matter anymore. There's no value here. So he rotates over towards left-hand side, and Percival just has to make sure the space doesn't get up and running. Yeah, setting up for the flank. I mean, that is a lot of Broodlords. True. Okay. Percival, even though he has a bank, he has to build up his army. It's going to take some time. He did lose all of his Vikings earlier. Yeah, with a low Viking count, the Broodlords, they can hold their own. Okay, YoungYakov, he has an economy. So does Percival. Yakov, he has some mining. Get that gas, baby. Percival playing with fire. Does take down a Broodlord. Oof. Corruptor as well. Lasso's no follow-up with that fungal. The scary thing here, there are 4 infestors. That is true. There's only 1 fungal. Currently, at least, there's only 1 fungal with those infestors. And without fungals, these ghosts are just going to go to town. Yeah, Percival, he has too much. Earlier, there were like 4 Vikings. Now he has 11. 11 Vikings. He just A-move at this point. Yeah, he can A-move in. Luring the army within range of the Thors. Snipes hopping off, massive snipes. Yeah, and with that, the final fight here for YoungYakov. He tries to get in, but he does not have enough. Every ultra goes down. We get 1 fungal. And there's only Broodlords. GG gets called. Percival, he will take game number 1. He will take a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Percival. He does take a lead. Again, just a really rough mid-game for YoungYakov. We did speak on it as it began, but YoungYakov, as soon as he lost control of bottom left, that was almost game then and there. I say almost game then and there. Obviously, it came down to the army control, and really, we were hoping, or YoungYakov was hoping that Percival would make some mistakes, or that maybe YoungYakov could force some mistakes out of Percival. But overall, Percival, he was able to maintain a better economy, a larger bank, the bottom left-hand expansions, and of course was able to force back Yakov. Yakov, he had a couple of rough moments, of course, where he was taking up in some weird directions. I'm referring to the moments where, like, we saw the big investment into the ultras early on, which wasn't quite worth it early on, especially. It delayed his own Broodlord transition. He was late to get into infestors as well. Like, he had a very low infestor count for a while, and he just couldn't hold his own, couldn't defend his expansions, and GG, well played. Whew. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. Going to be loading into Ruby Rook. Be loading into that next game, and we'll see if YoungYakov can recover. We'll see if Percival can close it out here and now. Let's go. Let us go. as we're loading to a much smaller map this time. So I should also emphasize that one of the other reasons why we just see a hyper late game on Winter Madness is the map itself. Winter Madness is more prone towards longer and later games, but now we're loading into smaller maps that do favor more aggressive builds. So we shouldn't really have that kind of game state again. If we loaded into, say, Celestial Enclave or even Mothership, like we might get into that kind of game state, or even White Rabbits, but these smaller maps, it's less likely. But here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we do have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran leading the series 1-0. 1-0 and 1 game away from claiming the series. It is Percival. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Red Zerg player. The Red Zerg player himself representing Stanley Balls. It is YoungYakov. Let's go. Let us go. Just catching up. And from here, we're going to be settling in. So far, it is going to be Hatch Gas Pool. We do have a... Oh, actually, it was an earlier pool compared to the Gas Geyser. Interesting. So we do have a slight variation when it comes to the opener of choice for YoungYakov. Meanwhile, Percival just going for a Rax Expand. Standard opener out of our Terran player, and eyes are on our Zerg for our initial opener as well. For the most part, we're just settling in, though. Just calming down, settling in. So I was just trying to catch up in the chat. I think I missed something. It's sad there are no young ones that come from Holland. We always had a Dutch at the subtop with Red, Grubby, Harstem, Euthermal. Yeah, I mean Harstem is still up there when it comes to European Protoss. Obviously, he's more of a content creator nowadays, but he's still up there. Like, I'd put him around the level of, like, Geralt and Christiana, some of the other top European Protosses. For sure, for sure. As Percival is going for his third CC before Starport. Hydra did have potential, but I believe Hydra, because I did see people bringing him up, Hydra nowadays is focusing on his studies. I believe he only plays StarCraft part-time. That's why, if you noticed, he plays in less tournaments than he used to. Like, I think Hydra, I want to say he went hard 2023, 4, and coming into 2025 as well. Like, he did, like, dedicate quite a lot. That was also back when he was on Team Roddy as well. But in recent times, I believe he's focusing on the studies. Ooh, nice snipe on the Tumor. Tumor goes down. And behind this, we have our, again, economic standard opener here. Third TC into Starport, most likely into Banshee play. Meanwhile, we're going for the same build. Early Evo Chamber into +1 melee. I'm still not sold on this. If you maybe weren't here for the start of game number 1, this is how it began. YoungYakov, we got really fast +1 melee into really fast +2 into like into 2-2-2, like into triple Evo Chamber. It was crazy. I'm still not entirely sold on it. Like, because of the extra Evo Chamber and the extra upgrades, it is quite costly. It does kind of slow you down a little bit in the mid game. It does give you a nice power spike with the range upgrades. It does help benefit the Hydras, but that, if you remember, that's why I thought we were going to go into Lurker Tech, but instead we went into Ultras and then into Brood. Like, it felt very messy, the transition into the late game. It felt very messy. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen any other Zerg player do this. I don't, like, to be fair, I don't really watch too much of like Mini Zerg or GG Machine, not as much as, say, those that maybe follow the Monday Night Weeklies. Like, I would imagine they play a little bit more in the Monday Night Weeklies and in the Waterfall Cup and in Hatchery Cup as well. Like, there are a couple of There are a couple of tournaments that do run at a more EU time that we don't really cover like we used to. So for those that maybe watch those events, you'd have a better idea of some of the other CIS Zerg players like Mini Zerg, like GG Machine, if they've been embracing this. But yeah, I'll be honest, outside of those that I just mentioned, which I haven't casted too much of recently, this is unique to me. This is a bit of a fresher build from YoungYakov. Like, I'm curious if they're doing it as well, or if it's just Yakov. Oh no, as Bane's getting caught out, and Yakov, he was setting up for a Bane Bust. Ooh, he was setting up for the Bane Bust. The Bane Bust is denied behind this. 18 more Lings on the way. He's all in. Yakov is completely all in, but the all in has been delayed. Setting up for the surround. No, never mind. Hellions, they slip by, they slip past. The armies, they pass by each other. Here comes the Bane Bust. Here come the Banelings. And Hellions, they will hit the third. Yakov at a position. I mean, both players are. We're going for a pseudo base trade. Queens, they deflect the Hellions, and here comes the Bane Bust. Let's go. And Banelings rolling in. Percival, he has no idea. No bunker. No wall. Oof. Yeah, the natural has been broken. The Lings, they flood into both bases, and we have nothing at home to defend. The Hellions, they race back home. And they try to keep up. Lings, they bust into the main. Banelings, they connect. SCVs are going down. Everything's on fire. Oh. And can we minimize losses? That's still 23. 23 SCV kills. Critical damage being dealt. We're camp with the production. Bane's ahead for the mineral end once again. At least they should. Zoning back the Hellions up. Ooh, gets in. 34. 34 SCVs. Crazy damage. Lings, they do flood in towards the third. 39 SCV kills. And that should be enough. That should be too much. As we still have another wave. Another wave of Lings. No, the tank. Yeah, collapsing on the tank, collapsing the Hellions. Remember, this is the final army. As all three Hellions finally go down. And we're going to the ace match. We're going to the ace match, baby. Let's go. As Percival, he is down to 17 SCVs. That's under one base saturation. Yo, we got a Banshee, some Marines, and a Dream. True, we got Stim. Stim is done. We got mules though. Ah, you're not wrong. You're not. Look, mules are good. Are they that good though? As Yakov behind this is droning, saturating, taking his gases, getting his fourth expansion, getting to Ling Bane. Hydroden is now done as well. Do you have the den? Percival, again, there's a little writing here on these drops. If he can somehow get into a mineral line, then he can get some damage done, but YoungYakov is keeping up. Yeah, so far he is keeping up. Harassing on the top side. Bailing run by a setup here and rallying towards the third. Once again, Yakov, due to his late expansion here, his droning is still a little bit lackluster. But he's building up his drones. Bailings, they waddle in. There's not many SCVs to kill, to be honest. Settles the depots. Whatever he can get done. Supply blocks Percival. True. That was supply block. So far, Percival's being turned away. Being active with a secondary drop, he can potentially force a cancel. Yakov is out of position. Uh-oh. He denies the base. Catching up more drones. So far, trading efficiently. Losing, what, 2 Marines? Now, is there a world where Percival recovers? I mean, he's doing the right thing. Like, he's taking those steps. He's trading well, picking up some units, denying expansions. The reality is, though, that YoungYakov should be able to muster up a force to break the 3rd expansion. Like, once the attack happens, once the force comes in, I don't really know if Percival can really defend that 3rd. Assuming that YoungYakov commits, because do you see what I see? Hive. Hive is on the way, double expanding, getting the northern and southern base. Yakov is taking up. And this is going to give Percival some time to recover. Bearing in mind that YoungYakov still maintains that lead. Up! Oof. Still does maintain that lead. Yakov so far still just turning back. Again, containing Percival. Yakov is about to max. He's about to max out, and we can soon just rally everything into this 3rd base. Now, Percival, he does have some SimCity here on the right-hand side. He got some decent tank lines. Even if it's inefficient, Yakov should just try to commit to the fight. As Percival is spreading himself thin, as he attempts to expand. Ooh, it's the burrowed Bailings, let's go. Yeah, he gets caught out at the same time. YoungYakov collapses on the right hand side, going for the mineral line. Makes his way in, massive connections. Ooh, 16 SCVs, catching out 16 workers, and with that he breaks the left hand flank. GG gets called, and YoungYakov ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG, well played, winning it back again. It all came down to the all-in. It was a big Link Bane all-in. It was a Bane bust out of YoungYakov, and Percival, he did not know, didn't realize. That's why there were no bunkers. That's also why the Hellions were across the map. He was trying to harass, he was trying to force a reaction out of his opponent. He didn't realize that Yakov was all in. So the Hellions were out of position, no bunkers, no defensive setup. At Percival, he was caught with his pants down, as the wall was even open. The wall was open as well. So the pants were down, and with that, we're going all the way to the ace match. Going to be loading into Mothership for game number 3. Let's go. Alright, loading into Mothership. And we'll see how the story ends. I mentioned before that, in my opinion, like, these 2 players are very close in skill. They're very close. They are their respective, like, Terran and Zerg players. The next kind of, like, don't want to say generation, like the next kind of set of players are going to rise up and kind of break into that upper echelon of Zerg and Terran. When I think of them, I think of Percival, I think of YoungYakov, I think of GG Machine, I think of Shameless, I think of Christiana. They're on the brink, they're on the cusp. Casito, baby, Casito. But here we go, spawning in the one side of Mothership, we have the South Korean Terran player, we have the blue Terran being forced into the ace match. We'll see if he can bring it back. We'll see if he can claim the series. It is a Percival. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player himself, representing Stanley Bulls. It is YoungYakov. Let's go. Gotcha. You can't kill my SCVs if I have no SCVs. True. Not wrong. As welcome to Mothership. Mothership is a massive 3-player spawn map, 3 possible spawn locations. We have YoungYakov scouting the bottom right hand, or the bottom side initially, and he will find Percival, who will be the first to find. Percival, meanwhile, are going for a standard opener. No 2-Rax Reaper. Just a Rax expand out of our Terran. So far, so good. And again, we'll see if YoungYakov goes for another fast Evo Chamber. He's been doing it now every game of this series. Game 1 and Game 2. Fast Evo Chamber, fast +1 melee. Percival, he does go Reactor first. Interesting. Does go Rax into Reactor into Expand. I believe he did spot the initial Overlord.
Command center upgrade complete.
And pulls away. Thankfully, behind this, there's going to be a standard opener out of our Zerg player. There's no real early aggression. We have 4 Lings on the way. We have our Queens. And Percival, he will skip Reaper production. Okay, so it's going to be Reactor first into Marine, holding onto that gas. Oh, hello. As Percival, he's going for not just 1 more Rax, we go up to 3. Okay, so 3-Rax stim timing. This is a bit of a rarer side in this matchup. We see this more commonly against Protoss. Like TVP, we do see this a little more commonly from players like Cure, Maru, ByuN. They do like to mix it in. But there's a chance here that we might even throw in a 4th Rax and go for a 2-base 4-Rax all-in with stim. Regardless, hyper-aggressive build here by Percival. Hyper-aggressive. And the goal here for Percival is to deny the scout, to make sure that YoungYakov sees nothing. So far, the Overlord is trapped here at the pillar. The Overlord is trapped. Does spot nothing but Marine, but this could be a 2-on-1, right? This at least does confirm there are no Hellions, right? There's no Hellion production. So YoungYakov, he has a piece of the puzzle. Early Evo Chamber once again. This time we're going for Carapace, which would be more ideal against a 2-on-1. So leaning more towards Carapace, but we'll no, he still goes for melee, never mind. Okay. Bold move. Yakov is supply blocked. And remember what I said earlier? I was like, we could just go for a 4-Rax 2-base all-in. We have a 4th Rax. So 4-Rax 2-base all-in here from Percival. He may pull the boys with this. You can pull the boys, and if there are no Banelings to defend, like, the boys actually do an amazing job buffering. They do a great job buffering against Roaches and against Lings and against Queens. So we can set up to pull the boys. Ooh, there's a Baneling nest. So that's an early nest here from Yakov, playing it safe. Again, he doesn't really know what's... Oh, he knows! He kind of. He does scout further in. He does get eyes on 2 Raxes. He has yet to confirm a 3rd CC. There's a very low chance that there'd be a 3rd CC tucked away here on the right-hand side. And again, that's on Percival. There should be Marines patrolling here. There should be Marines on patrol, but there aren't. This better be good. And here we go. The boys are being pulled. The boys are being pulled. Here comes the all-in. Lings, they confirm, and we need as many Banelings as possible here to defend. Yakov, he's racing back home. He should abandon his 3rd. Setting up the natural. Here we go. We have 4 Banelings on the way. Now, you don't want to waste the SCVs on the Banelings. Ideally, you want to be able to kite back, kite away, and focus fire the Banelings. But it's going to be 11 Banelings. Can Yakov hold on? There's 1 spine crawl in production. Queens are a little bit exposed. Banelings, they waddle in. SCVs, they have to kite back. SCVs have to pull away. So far, catching out 2 Banelings. There are 9 Banelings left. The SCVs, they're getting caught out. SCVs are falling, and do we get on top of the Marines? We do not. Yeah, the Marines, they barely hold on. There's only 1 Baneling left. 2 more on the way. Yeah, there's 2 more in production, and Yakov is holding. Yeah, Yakov is holding on. The spine crawler is done. The Queens, they defend. Every SCV falls. And again, YoungYakov, he is holding the line here. He does have a transfuse if he gets on creep. Oh no! Be careful. Get on creep. And Percival, he had nothing behind this. He had nothing behind this. Remember, it was all in. It was all or nothing. Yakov, he was able to scout with the Overlord. It gave him the wherewithal to get the faster Baneling nest, which was crucial. Without that Baneling nest, he dies. To be honest, I like that. That can just end then and there with no early Baneling nest. But YoungYakov did scouts. Lings, they do attempt to catch reinforcements. Queens are holding on. Oh, Queens are overextended for a moment. Losing one queen. But plenty of Zerglings are here. Yeah, Yakov, he will clean this up. And we're looking to make our way to the semis, papi. Yeah, we already have our confirmed semi-finalists, by the way, in the lower half. We already have a player waiting for the end of the series as well. Here comes a counterattack, and Percival, he has no bunker. No bunker, no Hellions, no tanks, no Widowmines, no nothing, just pure Marine. And that's why it's called an all-in. Like, you don't really scale too well into a longer game. And here comes Yakov. Waiting for reinforcements. Okay, Lings are on the way. The Lings are coming. Oh no. Percival, he gets lured out into the open. Not like this. Here comes Yakov. Oh, there's the first stim. There's the first stim. Percival, he at least scouts. He knows. He does see the army. He does spot the army. Percival, he has built up his economy. Yakov has not. Yakov is now all in. The turns have tabled. The turns have tabled. But this should work for Yakov. Once again, he's attempting to lock him down. He wants to surround. Oh, doesn't quite get it. Yeah, does not get it. Very nice target firing. Oh my god. But Banelings are still making their way through. There's 3 Banelings left. Down to 4. Oh my, the target firing. Percival, he holds. No shot. Percival, he's holding on. Very nice target firing here to Percival. And Yakov really still overwhelmed. It's close. It's so close here. Lings into the mineral line. A good reaction by Percival. He pulls away. And Percival does hold on. Barely loses anything here. He trades Marines. Very impressive defense out of Percival. And the game will continue. With that failed kind of like counterattack, with that failed all-in, the game will continue here. Yakov does have the greater economy, but Percival, he... Oh... No third TC. Never mind. I was like, we could get into a macro game from here. There's no third TC in sight. Percival, he's still very all in. The longer this game goes on, the better it is for YoungYakov. So Percival, he's on a timer. He's on a timer. Do we pull the boys again? Here comes the second all in. Here comes wave 2. Wave 2 is coming. This time he does not pull the boys. But he does have his 3 tanks. Likewise, stim is done, +1, combat shields. Yakov, he has to try to be patient here. But tanks are getting in a very rough position. They're moving in. Ideally, Percival wants to bait the army within range. Nice counterattack here by YoungYakov. Catching Marines. Catching reinforcements. Oh, another most efficient fight here. Yeah, so has to back off. Has to calm down. He's being low. Oof. Once again, Yakov, he has to be patient. He commits. Oh, this I'm not so sure about. Yeah, he commits in. He gets 1 tank. Can he get the others? He gets 2 tanks. He barely gets all 3. Whew. All 3 tanks go down. Yakov is holding, and behind this, 2 upgrades, Hydra production underway, 4th base getting fully operational as well. And remember, there's no third CC, we're floating over the main. Let's go. The main base is floating over. I mean, Percival, he will sustain himself doing so. He's sustaining his all-in. Bane collapsing the army. Nice target firing with the tank. But there are still Banelings left over. Yeah, catching out the remaining Marines. Yeah, Percival, he doesn't really have much left over. Impressive that Percival, he defended earlier, but GG gets called. And YoungYakov, he will claim the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to YoungYakov as it does claim the series, does advance on to the semifinals. So that was a very close, very clutch game. Winding it back, remember this was a 4x 2-base all-in at a Percival initially, and YoungYakov, he did scout. He was able to scout with the Overlord, he was able to get eyes on the extra Raxes, no throw TC, and he reacted with a 4-minute Bailey Nest. 4-minute Bailey Nest as a reaction to the scouts. Did mention at the time that Percival, he's failed to deny the scout into the main base, and YoungYakov had the wherewithal to get that safety Bailey Nest in the end. With that, he was able to barely hold on, barely defend. It took a massive lead from there. Now, despite that lead, I was very impressed that Percival survived the counterattack, survived the counter all-in essentially from YoungYakov. But despite surviving that, Percival, he only was on 2 CCs. He did not have a third. If he had a third CC behind it, different story. He could macro, but he had no third CC. So he was still committed into a 2-base all-in, which means the longer the game went on, the better it was for Yakov. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations, YoungYakov does claim the series, and with that, we do have our next match. We're going to be following Yakov into the semi-finals. Let's go. It's going to be a ZVP. Let's catch up on the bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are headed. Whew, okay, from the top, we have herO. herO, he took down Roxas 2-0, took down Rex 2-0, and herO, he's been knocking down nothing but Zerg. Nothing but Zerg opponents as he's up against YoungYakov in the upper semifinals. Meanwhile, Classic took down Kaio, took down Demi, and is up against ByuN as ByuN took down, got a walkover win over Lijian, and took down Nickrat 2-0. So we have our top 4, herO versus YoungYakov, and Classic versus ByuN. Now, very quickly, as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, unfortunately, so usually we do cast both semis. Usually both semifinals are casted here during the Tuna Cup, but this week we will not be casting the lower semifinals. The lower semis are already underway. We are casting the upper semis ourselves, but this time the semifinals are happening concurrently, not one after the other. The reasoning for this is that today I'm not. Today I have my pet bunny. My pet bunny just came back from the hospital. Just came back a couple of hours ago, so I have to make sure that she's okay and have to look after her and spend time with her. So I don't have as much time to dedicate to the broadcast tonight. So I do apologize, but do not have as much free time. So Vita's underway, and we are setting up here for herO versus Yakov. Let's go. For now, we're going to be going on a short break, just catching up with the chat. Just catching up. Oh, okay. We're going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have our next series. We'll have herO and Yakov. See you soon. See you soon after the break. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semifinals or semifinals here of the sparkling Tuna Cup number 124. We are back, we are live with a PVZ, some nice kind of balance, what's the word I'm looking for? A variety, I should say, and that's variety. When it comes to semifinals, we have 2 Protoss, 1 Terran, and 1 Zerg, at least one of each race, and we are jumping into our fresh best of 3, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. I knew I forgot something. There we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player himself, the red Zerg representing Stanley Balls. It is YoungYakov. And if you're in the chats, I have to very quickly finalize the previous predictions. Un momento, baby. Oh, it has already been done. But if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Will it go the way of Yakov? Will it go the way of herO? Up to you to decide. Best of luck. Best of luck. Coming into this, remember, herO, he is the #1 seed of the tournament. herO is #1 seed. Classic is the #2 seed. Can we stop those 2 players from facing off in the finals? Can we stop and deny the PvP finals? The pressure's on. The pressure's on Yakov. The pressure's on ByuN. Hoping they can. We'll see. As the YoungYakov, he does have a Titan ahead of him. So far, being forced to take the unnatural natural, so a bit of an awkward and uncomfortable start at the beginning of the game here for Yakov. Outside of that, we're opening up in a standard fashion, and we'll see what herO has in store for us. Now, again, when it comes to herO's play, he's typically very versatile. He's very versatile, very aggressive, very dynamic in his PvZ, willing to mix things up, throw down early tech, throw down early upgrades as well, early Twilight Council, into Glaives, into early Blink, into committed 3-base all-ins, into heavy Oracle play. herO can be very difficult to keep up with in the PvZ matchup, in almost every matchup, to be fair. That is herO's biggest strength, is his dynamic play, his versatility, his unpredictability, if you will. Meanwhile, YoungYakov, he's also known for all-ins in this matchup, specifically in ZVP. He's known for these big 2 and 3 base all-ins, but Winter Madness is a larger map. I mean, hey, if you remember, we just had a 30+ minute game between Yakov and Percival in this map, for good reason, right? It's a large map, a lot of bases, long rushes by ground, defendable 3 bases, so if we were to go into the late game into SkyToss, there's a high chance of doing so here on this map. And herO, he is willing to rush into SkyToss if he sees an opportunity. So we'll see how Yakov will adjust his approach. Something we could see here isn't maybe not necessarily all-ins, but some very committed play into mutas. Like muta play, early Spire is something we do see quite a bit on Winter Madness. So that is a viable option here for Yakov. We'll see. We shall see. And again, as a reminder, if you want to see ByuN versus Classic, unfortunately, we're not going to be covering it. We're not going to be casting. It is happening at the same time. They are currently mid-series. Let's take him into the shade. Just applying a bit of pressure. We got 2 queens here at the natural. Likewise, we have soon to be 2 queens in the main. Just 1 for now. Edipson commits. The Oracle moves in. Yakov's in position. Despite that, we'll lose 1, 2, up to 3 drone kills. And here he gets away. So nice start. 3 drones, pulls away. Early Twilight Council out of herO. You have my intention. Yeah, very early commit to the 3rd base. So with this early council, we're assuming Glaive Adepts, right? Glaive Adepts, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Remember, it's going to be delayed forge, delayed +1. Technically, this could be early charge. Like, there are some niche early charge builds you can go for, which at this point are out of favor. So still leaning towards Glaives, but we'll keep an eye on herO. As he has all 4 gases. Throwing down 3 more gates. Getting up to 4. No robo. Oh, early blink. Never mind. So very fast blink here out of herO. You have my intention. Fast blink, late forge. Now, because blink is so fast and so early here for herO, I'm leaning more towards an 8k 3 base all in. We'll see if herO takes his gases. If he saturates his 3rd base and he doesn't take his gases, then it's indicative here of staying on a lower tech army, on purely stalkers, or not going into Colossus, not going into Storm, but instead committing with mass gateways instead. As the 4th base is denied. Rough start for Yakov. Rough start. As herO is still saturating that 3rd base. Oh, not again! No! Ooh, another cancellation. Another denial. It's going to be early Evo Chamber out of YoungYakov. So he's looking to go into +1 melee into Ling Hydra. Yeah, Hydra Den's on the way. Ling's at least scout all these stalkers, does know it's not going to be charged, but there it is, 2 more gateways. So we have 6 gates so far, and we're looking for more. Oh no, never mind, takes gases. Okay, so he does have really fast blink, and because that he'd be aggressive earlier than normal, but taking these gases is indicative of further tech. Typically. Actually, I should mention that as well. As he moves down, remember blink is done. He has oracles to support. So he does throw down extra gateways. Ling's they attempt to catch reinforcements, getting caught out instead. We did mention that, hey, with extra gases, that means extra tech. It is going to be Storm, not Colossus. I mean, there's no robo. It's working towards Storm. Poking in. Already denied the 4th base twice. Trades well against the Zerglings. So far, hasn't lost a single Stalker, but I spoke too soon. 1 Stalker should barely go down. Never mind. The Stalkers, they barely survive. Nice stasis traps. 4th base is on the way. I'm a little bit afraid to look here. Yeah, 0 units. 24 Ling kills, an Overlord, 6 drones, and so far we've only lost a single probe, so hyper efficiency out of herO, that's what he's known for. Meanwhile, Yakov, he's actually rushing into Lurker Tech. Ooh, Lair Tech Lurkers, okay. I mean, that is a way to catch your opponent off guard. So very fast Lurker Tech here by YoungYakov. And remember, Yakov's 4th race was heavily delayed, was cancelled twice. As we have our 7 lurkers morphing in. That should be just buy time. Jesus. Okay, stasis goes over the queens. If you remember, I spoke about Storm. Storm was never researched. No show. We never researched Storm. We're just rallying across the map with Archons. hero's going for the kill. He's going for the kill, going for the throat. Thankfully, lurkers are now done. And with the help of these lurkers, YoungYakov should be able to hold on. Sky Toss. we're getting into a longer game. So with the early lurker tech, Yakov, he has held, he has defended, and herO, upon seeing the turtling Zerg player, is rushing into Skytoss. So we're getting into a longer game state. See in the chat, does herO have any tech? Yes, we spoke about the Temple Archives earlier, and the assumption was Storm, but herO skipped Storm to go into Archons instead, and now upon seeing all the lurkers, he's going into Skytoss. And Yakov can't really break out. Remember, this is lair tech lurkers. Yakov, he does not have a hive. He doesn't have any. Oh, sorry, he does have the pits. Hive is now on the way. Until that happens, though, Yakov is stuck at home. Oh, lurker drops though. Okay. Coming with the lurkers, forcing the recall. Here he races back home to defend. Very nice harass here by Yakov. It doesn't do damage, but it forced the recall, which means Yakov can expand. He can expand. He gains map control. Big moment for Yakov. He shouldn't be out here though. Uh-oh. Yeah, Yakov is getting called out. Big revelation. Army does reinforce. And Yakov, can he protect those lurkers? He cannot. Yeah, he cannot. The army is going to be breaking through. One lurker goes down. He gets one. He gets two lurkers. 3, 4. He's losing everything. Yeah, Yakov, he will lose every single lurker here. Ay, ay, ay. Again, Yakov, he did have a massive overextension. He's going to be chased back. There's nothing to defend the lurkers. Remember, these are lair tech lurkers. They kind of hold their own. And that was how many? 10. Oof. 10 lurkers going down. Heavy losses for YoungYakov. And we don't even need the Skytoss, to be honest. We don't even need it, man. I mean, the Tempest is nice. It does add a little bit of extra DPS. But here he has so much momentum. He denies the expansion. Lings, they attempt to catch reinforcements. They will get an Archon, but GG. Yeah, GG gets called. The writing is on the wall, and herO takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO does take a lead in the series. Again, YoungYakov, he was able to defend. He was able to survive at least a little bit when it came to his lurkers, but he did break out across the map, and unfortunately, he couldn't hold his own. Like, he overextended. He just overextended. He just misjudged the strength of his army. His lurkers were very vulnerable, especially without any upgrades, and he chose to commit towards that lower expansion, and he lost everything in the process. So YoungYakov did kind of just misjudge the army, and with that got shut down. GG. GG, well played. To be fair, like, he was playing from behind. Like, it was a really rough position for Yakov because his 4th base was so delayed, because it was trading so inefficiently against the Stalkers as well. The reality is herO did have a big lead. He did have a big lead there coming in towards that mid game. And Yakov felt the pressure to achieve some damage before Skytoss. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into game number 2 here. Going to be loading into Ruby Rock. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner here of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his top left hand corner, we have we have the red Zerg player, himself, representing Team Stanley Balls. It is YoungYakov. Let's go. Let us go. So we're settling into game number 2. Now welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is a much smaller map than map pool. Smaller map, shorter rush distance by ground. As a result, we do often see all-ins. We often see all-ins here on Ruby Rock instead. Oh, as the expansion is going to be denied. Yeah, force to expand at the unnatural location. Now, this forward 3rd base does allow for faster creep. So it means that if YoungYakov were to go for a Queen Walker across the map, or a German Taxi, for example, like a Roachling Queen Drop Lord all in, then this will hit a little bit faster thanks to the faster creep spread. That's going to be in the back of my mind at least. It's in the back of my mind. To see in the chat, anyone covering ByuN versus Classic? As we mentioned before, unfortunately we are not casting the lower semis. Usually we do. Usually we cast both semifinals, one after the other. But specifically today we don't have, unfortunately I don't have the free time to do so. Don't have the time to dedicate to the broadcast the way that we usually do. So this time we have an accelerated bracket instead. And unfortunately we don't have anyone else casting. Every now and then we have like ByuN casting in Korean, every now and then. Usually it's whenever he plays. Whenever he plays, he does cast typically as well. Like if he gets knocked out. You know, sometimes we have TKL, sometimes we have Indie. Sometimes. But we are currently the only stream. The only stream. I think maybe Shin has casted once. I think. But now though. Now we're calming down, droning up our bases, getting our third up and running. It's going to be a Stargate opener out of herO. Opening up Stargates into Oracle. Really, my eyes are mainly on YoungYakov to see if he goes for an early lair. Like, I'm looking for an early lair timing. I'm looking for an early Roach Warren timing. Those would be signs of it. That's there. There it is. as if on cue, papi. As if on cue. As I'm looking for a Roach Warren. So it's going to be a 3-minute Roach Warren, hyper aggressive here by YoungYakov. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Void Ray opener, not Oracle. Okay, now the power of the Void Ray does come in the form of denying vision, denying scouting. So the Void Ray can hunt down this Overlord and deny vision. Now the scary thing though is that yes, herO, he's going to be able to shut down the Overlords and make it difficult for YoungYakov to scout. On the flip side, this means that herO has one less Oracle, and this means that herO has less scouting information across the map. I mean, again, that's the goal of the initial Oracle. That's one of their strengths, of course, is early game scouting. And herO sees nothing. And we do have a Ling Roach Queen all in. I believe the Queen's going to be walking across the map. There's no lair. There's no lair. There's no Roach Speed. There's no Drop Lords. There's no Pneumatized Carapace. We're just walking. Let's go. We just be waddling, baby. Roaches, they bypass the Void Ray. So the Void Ray does not see the Roaches themselves.
Dimensional strings attuned.
The Lings, they poke in. Overlord does fall. And herO, he doesn't know. He has no idea what's going on. He does have an early Twilight Council. Looks like Glaives. I mean, it could be early Blink again. But herO, he has no defensive setup. No battery. Yeah, no batteries back at home. And this can work. But the goal here, break the natural. Just break open the natural door. And herO, he has failed to scout. And it goes down. Takes down the depth. Goes further in, takes down the other. Does barely surround. There we go. Both at absolute 4. The boys are being pulled. Roaches, they bust into the mineral line, and probes will fall. So far, good damage. Yeah, damage is being done, and we're still rallying across the map. Remember, YoungYakov is all in. Yeah, he is all in. It gets into the main base. Can we shut down the Toast's pylon? Oh. There's going to be 13 dead workers. Pylon goes down. Massive pickup. Denies the warpins, denies the production, the tech, the upgrades. And we're still rallying. Yeah, we're still rallying across, and it looks like we're going to the ace match. We're going all the way, baby. Let's go. 22 probe kills. The third is still up. True. Oh, so I got ahead of myself here. I thought we were going to do some more damage. Oh, nice. Okay, we still are. Nice round. Nice round. More probes that will fall. At least they should. Not good enough. Like, this was nice damage. It was, what, 23 probe kills? Ideally, though, we wanted more, or at least a third. Okay, Lings, they do go for the third expansion. The Nexus should go down. Yeah, Sentry moves in, Adepts as well. It's going to be close. Can he get it? Oh, no. It's getting close, but no. Sean is going to survive 60 HP. Ay. Yakov. YoungYakov, he barely doesn't kill the expansion. It was very, very close, very, very clutch. And by failing to kill his base, I mean, herO, he can recover. He can recover. Like, losing 23 probes is not good enough. He has further tech. He has Blink on the way. He has the Forge on the way for +1. He has the third expansion. Remember, YoungYakov, he's down in workers. He does have 3 bases. He's going for it. Yeah, just going for the dive. The force field. The energy overcharge. He gets it. He gets the Nexus. Okay. That was crucial. That was crucial there for Yakov. Otherwise, herO would just take a lead. And Yakov, he's in this. Okay. he's in this. The army's coming in for the counterattack. Uh-oh. Yakov, he has nothing. He has 7 lings and 3 queens. Okay, we have 8 hydras in production. Without them, herO can do critical damage. Thankfully, hero's being tentative. He doesn't know. Yeah, herO backs off. Whew. Okay, herO, he backs off. Yakov, he is holding on. He's barely cranking out those hydras. herO rotates. Again, hero's passivity here is allowing YoungYakov to you know, get away with this. As they move in. Friendly plays Oracle Stasis. There's no guarantee that would have helped in the defense, like, especially if Yakov did see it ahead of time, he can just bait it out. But bearing in mind, a lot of the strength of that all-in from YoungYakov came to the lack of scouting. Remember, it came to the initial Void Ray, right? The Void Ray opener did mean that herO had less scouting than normal. So he didn't realize what was happening until it was in his face. And Yakov, he is running up somewhat, getting up to around 3 base saturation, but already moving out. He's being a little bit premature here. He's throwing away lings. Oh my god. Throws away some Zerglings. Yakov, we gotta lock in. We gotta calm down. Calm down, papi, calm down. Yakov goes to the run by. The wall is up. Revelation on the Zerglings. We can see Yakov ignoring this army and just committing across the map instead. What's the plan? Who reacts to who? herO moves in, and Yakov responds. Okay, Yakov does respond. herO pushing further into the bases. It's a one-way trip. He's caught out. Oh my, the force field. Okay, the force field. There's no Ravagers. No shot. He's killing the main. We have one more force field. There he gets it. There we go. Two in a panic as the Oracle goes down. He could have had one more force field. Down goes the base. He recalls back home. herO with the moves at the same time. There's a counterattack, but herO, he defends in time. He gets back home in time. He shuts down some of these hydras as well. Punching the army. The Cybercore was sniped, but hey, charge is almost done. Charge is almost complete. We got the slow lots. The Lings, they're coming for the surround. They try to catch out the Stalkers. Nice spin control here by herO. Yeah, nice control. Blinks away. Cuts back to his third. Zelsei warp in. Charge is now done. The hydras are exposed. And Yakov. Oh, he's getting caught out here. I say that. Nice buffering with those Zerglings. And nice buffering. Making his way into the natural. But he doesn't have a recall. He has no recall. No. And Yakov, he will lose all these hydras. Every hydra's going to go down. GG gets called. And herO will claim the series 2-0. Advancing on to the grand finals. So GG. GG, well played. herO with the moves. He was in a rough position after losing that third base, but he got across the map. He busted into the main, force field of the ramp, and he was able to snipe the expansion, cripple the economy, recall back home in time, and Yakov was committed. But alas, he had no reinforcements. He needed more Zerglings. Again, it was very fortunate that Charge did finish up in time. herO, he was able to collapse on those hydras, able to bring them down. Expensive losses for Yakov. GG, well played. With that, he had nothing left behind this. We almost had an ace match. We almost had a game 3. Casito, papi, casito. But GG, well played. With that, herO, he somehow survives, defends, he brings it all the way back, and now we have our first finalist. GG, well played. Congratulations. With that, we have herO advancing to the grand finals, and remember, herO, he's waiting for the winner of Classic and ByuN. Oh boy. Let's head on over here to the Korean server, as we have purely Koreans remaining here. It's going to be Classic, ByuN, and herO. As a reminder, Classic and ByuN, they're currently mid-series, but we might be able to jump in mid-series there. 1 moment. We shall see. We shall see as we are heading on over, and I think we actually have a result. Ooh. Hold on. Because I see Classic online, I don't see ByuN. I do not see ByuN here. Ah, there it is. We have results coming in, and we were curious. We were hoping that we could stop the PvP finals. We could not. Classic takes down ByuN 2-0, and we have a PvP finals between herO and Classic, the two best Protoss players in the world, facing off. Let's go. Let us go. We have that PvP. Vetoes are underway, and as a reminder, it's going to be the best of 5. It's going to be the best of 5. What a match. I feel sorry for Zerg. He almost had it. Yeah, Yakov, he did well. Like he straight up, he almost broke herO. He was breaking him, I should say. He was able to deal critical economic damage. But as a reminder, he also did spend extra, like a massive amount of Zerglings to kill the third, right? Like the third base barely didn't go down the first time. He had to commit once again. So a lot of investment there. Whereas all those lings could have been drones if he was able to deal more damage, whether it's economic damage or the third base a little bit earlier instead. Again, it was a very shaky all-in from YoungYakov, where he did enough damage to kind of even things up and maybe take a slight lead, but then we had that crazy move out of herO, right? Going into the Mass Blink Stalker with that 1 sentry and busting into the main, right? Able to bust into the main base, force field the ramp as well, out positioning YoungYakov. Was crazy back and forth, was a very dynamic game, I should say. Very dynamic. It was a lot of fun, But GG all played. Oh, right, sorry, before I get ahead of myself, you know what time it is? It is time for La Rifa. True. Hold on, before I forget, hopefully it is set up. Okay. It is set up here. So we do have something special in store for us every single week, bam. We have the random raffle. So this is unique to our tournaments, but every single week we do have a random raffle for the players that competed in our tournaments. Now there is only one criteria, and that is you have to have played your games. As a reminder, there is someone that is ineligible for the random raffle this week. Bam, if you look at the round 16, look at ByuN's opponent, Li Jian. Li Jian didn't show up. There was a 99-0 score. That's basically a forfeit. That's a walkover. So Li Jian, he checked in but didn't play his game, so he's ineligible for the random raffle. But otherwise, everyone else is eligible for some extra prize money for 5 USD. Nothing crazy, nothing wild, but just a little bit of extra prize money. It's a way to spread the love, to spread the support. It could go to a finalist, it could go to herO, it could go to Classic, or it even could go to someone like Solicitus, who got knocked out in the first round, for example, or someone that got knocked out in the quarterfinals, or in the round 16. So here we go. So this week, the random raffle winner is, congratulations. Hashtag rigged in the chat. Congratulations to Classic. He's also in the finals, and he also wins the random raffle. Congratulations. Classic double dipping this week. Protoss, they win everything. Not like this. Shout out to Solicitus for coming in second place, Kayo, Percival in fourth, and Roxas towards the end there. But alas, with that, we do have now a boosted prize pool or prize money for Classic. Regardless of whether he goes first or second, we'll have a little bit of extra prize money added to his earnings. But here we go. We're jumping into the grand finals here again. We have our best of 5, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Korean the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself, representing Protoss Pro. It is Classic. Let's go. Let us go. I see in the chat. So does herO have a mass void ray build I can steal? No. Mass void ray is a thing of the past. I say that. There was a void ray build that we saw recently. I think it was in ZVP, but it wasn't mass void ray. I think we saw like maybe it was like a void ray opener into like 2 to 3 void rays, but then you just switch into Sky Toss. Or you can switch into Sky Toss, so you can switch into like charge. but you don't go mass void ray. You make like a handful, like 2 to 3 void rays as like a core, like part of your army, and then you can go into like into charge or into tempest. But it's a very niche build. It's very, very niche, and I think we saw that like maybe last month at a hero. But very niche, not safe for ladder, so be careful. As, oh, some shenanigans at a classic going for the pylon hidden here on the right hand side. Classic going for a fake proxy. So fake proxy here by Classic, trying to force an overreaction at a hero. Hero across the map, going for his own standard opener so far. Second pylon in the main. Second pylon is in the main. Did I open predictions? Oh, okay, my apologies. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamma time. It is Gamma time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. So I was a little bit distracted by the game. True. Hero taking the mantle of Shield of Ire recently. True. I mean, for the most part, true. Like I think I would still say that it's a little bit different. I think in general, I would say that Classic is a little bit more of a defensive macro player than Hero, but at the same time, specifically in PvZ, Hero has been doing a great job at being that defending player, like specifically in that matchup. I would say in the other matchups, like Hero, he's like the spear of ByuN, you know. He's less of a shield and more of a spear. In PvP and in PvT. In PvZ, like Hero can do both. That's he can be the shield, he can be the spear, he can do it all back. It's crazy. There we go. Here we go. Initially, we'd have a Hero going for his own expansion. It is going to be later than Classic. So because of the fake out, Classic does have a greedier build. Classic does have a stronger economy. Classic even catching at the Adepts. Nice pick off. Yeah, nice pick up here out of Classic. At the same time, we do have Hero back at home going for the earlier Robo. As I mentioned, this was in response to a proxy that doesn't exist. So Hero does have an inefficient start. The Prism is spotted, and Classic is getting ready back at home. So far, Classic has the advantage. Right now, the pressure's on Hero to find some damage in the main. Warping in a Sentry, okay. We got a force field. Adept shades in. Hero pushing forward. Can he force with the ramp? Oh, not quite. There we go. Loads up that sentry. Header for the ramp. Oh, doesn't get in. Yeah, it does not get in. Gets zoned away. Classic is all over Hero. He's all over him. Oh, the force field's a little bit lackluster. He does catch one sentry. One sentry goes down, but that did cost Hero 3 force fields. Hero keeps working in. Remember, Classic has a better economy, has more probes. Hero has to do more damage. The pressure is still on Hero. Let's Hero shades in. Shades in. Does pick off one Stalker, 2 Stalkers, but the Prism is getting low. Prism is zoned away, and Classic, he wants that Prism. Oh my god. Alas, barely does get out. Nice movement there by Hero. Catching out those Stalkers, pulling away. At the same time, Adepse did shade into the mineral line, 4 probe kills. So Hero killing 4 Stalkers, 4 probes, and a pylon. Very nice damage. We spoke about it. There was a lot of pressure on Hero to get some damage done, to be efficient, and he has been. But no shot. He wants the Immortal. He wants the Immortal. He gets it. The Immortal goes down. Oh my god. And Classic's being pulled apart. He's just falling apart here. Losing the Immortal as well. Hero can just fight head on. The boys are being pulled. Classic getting desperate. He pulls the boys. The juggling is there. The micro, the control. Force field. GG gets called. And Hero, he breaks the natural. He takes game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Very intense game there. herO, he was in a rough position. He was forced into an early robo. He was forced into a delayed expansion. herO, he had to get damage done, and he did outposition. He did barely outposition Classic, dropping into the main base, shading into the natural mineral line, and of course, catching at that final immortal was the nail in the coffin. That was a brutal loss there for Classic. It meant that he could not keep up, could not defend. GG. GG, well played. A very intense game one here, which herO did bring back. Now we're loading into game number 2. Let's go. We're loading into game 2. And again, we do expect this PvP to be high intense, to be high intensity PvP. They don't really want to slow things down and build up into a macro game. We expect proxies, cheese, fake all-ins, real all-ins, 1 base play, 2 base play. It'll be rare to see a third. We might see one, but I would say that'll be a rare sight to see a third expansion in this series. but we'll see, we'll see. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss player himself representing Protoss Pro. It is a Classic. See, Bartholomew in the chat. Everyone knows that herO is pushing 1 base, so why Classic is going for expand. As a reminder, if you missed it in the last game, herO did expand, herO did take a natural, and herO was probing. So herO was not 1 base all in, he was 2 base. He was playing 2 base. Just as a heads up. And likewise, Classic, for the most part, was keeping up until he wasn't, right? Like Classic, he barely didn't defend against herO's aggression, which was off of 2 base play. Bearing in mind, the reason why herO went for the early robo is because herO faked him out with the pylon proxied on the map. Remember, Classic went for a fake proxy pylon. So there were a lot of layers. There were a lot of layers to that game. It was Classic faking a 1 base all-in, herO responding with a defensive robo, then forced to go for a late expansion, then forced to be aggressive. There was a lot of layers. But here we go. For now, we are going to be opening up. Once again, Classic going for the fake pylon. Once again, trying to go for the overreaction. So if you weren't here for the beginning of last game, it's the same start, with Classic going for the pylon on his side of the map at the third, and he's trying to force an overreaction out of herO. And it worked last game. It did work. Classic took an economic lead, but he was still barely torn apart. herO, meanwhile, knows. He knows there's a pylon missing. He knows something is wrong. He's aware that a pylon is somewhere else on the map. Classic going for a Stalker Sentry opener. Very safe. herO going double adept. And herO does go for the Stargate on 1 expansion. So herO, he's going to have a delayed expansion. Meanwhile, Classic does get the Nexus, and herO confirms. So herO, he now knows he is behind economically, and unlike last game, he's stuck with a Stargate, not a Robo. With the Robo, herO had potential with the Prism Harass, with the Prism Micro, and with the Immortal Reinforcements as well to kill Classic. Now stuck with the Stargate, this is good for harassing, but mainly only harassing. Oh, and Classic scouts. Classic, he does see the Stargate, he knows an Oracle is coming, and Classic should be ready for it. So far, compared to the last game, this is a better start for Classic. The pressure's on herO to get some economic damage. Once again, to be fair, just like last game, the pressure's on herO. Oh, trying to turn the tables on the Stalker. We have a reactive Stargate out of Classic, so he can go for his own Phoenix. First Oracle's on the way. Remember, Classic is aware of this. herO shades into the middle line, gets 2 robes, not bad. Considering he was about to lose one of the adepts. Gets 2 workers, the Oracle moves in, the army's barely out of position, we get into the main. No shot, there's no battery. No shot, no battery, no nothing in position, probe's gonna be going down. This should not have happened. Aye, Classic. He saw this coming, that's 8 probes going down, that is far too much. There's a recall, Oracle is saved. And then Classic had the information, he had the tools to defend, but being dragged out of position here by the Adepts, that was brutal, right? The army should have been in the main. Should have been in the main base. Classic, as he tries to move out, more Oracles are moving in. Classic, he has lost his lead, losing another probe. There's still nothing in the main. Like this, no shot. Losing another 5 probes. Not like this. At least Classic does find the other Oracle. At least. But Classic is down 10 probes. And remember, because of Classic's build, he should have been up in workers. So he has lost that economic edge. That means Classic, he's behind tech-wise. Blink is on the way for herO. And things are looking rough for Classic. Oof. As Classic, he has to commit. Losing one of the Phoenixes. There is a battery. Yeah, battery's in position. herO will hold. herO's going to be able to hold on. He does trade with the army here, just picking up some stalkers, pulling away. herO does barely get back to the battery. And Classic needs more damage. He's still down by 10 workers. And remember, that's going to be a big power spike with Blink. Blink is halfway done. Ooh, the Oracle gets in. Okay, okay. Nice damage here by Classic. Gets into the main base. Nothing to defend. herO caught with his pants down. The pants are down for everyone. 9 for Jesus. 9 probe kills. herO who was blindsided. And Classic takes a worker lead. Now, he does take a lead economically here when it comes to the worker count, but herO has had more mining for longer, for a longer period of time, so that he still has that edge. And he's going for the proxy. Oh boy, how many gateways? We have 4 in the main. Sorry, we have 4 in the main, 1 in the natural, 1 across the map. It's going to be a 2 base, 6 gate all in. No expansion. So here he's committing. The attempted third base is seen, but remember, there's no third in sight. Instead, we have the proxy, we have the all-in. And Classic does not know. Classic setting up for his own expansion. Oh. Does cancel. Falling back to his natural. What did he see? He saw some of the stalkers, that is true. But he does feel something is off. The all-in is coming. If Classic was taking his third base right now, he would just die. Like, he'd just be spread thin. Oh, dives on the army. Yeah, going for the Immortal. He gets 1 volley up, gets 2, gets 3. Yeah, 3 volleys for the Immortal to tank a lot of shots. Another Immortal arrives, and herO's getting punished. Yeah, massive punish for herO. As Classic shuts him down. The Immortal just tanks so much, and herO, remember, he has no expansion. herO's gonna keep going. One's gonna need 3 shots. Oh god. It takes so long to bring them down. And now we have another Immortal. Yeah, Classic, he defends. He defends, he completely shuts us down. The Immortals, they pop out just in time. And herO now forced to take his third base, but a very late third. Remember, he lost his edge. Now, I say late third base, it is late, to be fair, but it is faster than his opponent. What is scary, though, is the Immortal count. The Immortal count is slowly getting higher and higher. Classic is building up a greater army. He does need his own expansion, though. As Classic pulls away. Oh, going into Glaives, I see. He's committed. So Glaive Adepts, for those that are curious, is viable in PvP, but it typically isn't very, it's not very, it doesn't have a lot of longevity, I should say. It's very committed, very aggressive. It doesn't scale well, though. That's a better way of putting it. It doesn't scale well in a longer game state. It is kind of like a stopgap solution to the charge lots, right? Zealots are amassing for herO. Adepts can trade well against Zealots. They can also shade onto armies and shade past the army as well. Again, they're not the most efficient of units getting into a longer game state, but Classic doesn't plan on the game for being much longer. He doesn't plan on going into a longer late game. Hey, I said this at the beginning of the broadcast. If you remember, I was like, we're not going to see a third. We are seeing third bases. They're getting up. And Classic, he will soon commit. As herO, I believe he has no Temple Archives. Oh, no Temple Archives, no Archon production. It's going to be purely Stalker charge lots. Zealots, they try to collapse in. Nice forces locking down those Zealots, forcing the blink. The army blinks in towards 3 Immortals though. Yeah, there's 3 Immortals behind this. herO going to be punished. He will lose everything. herO has to get out. And he does steal the Adepts, he knows. herO, he's now aware, but he's stuck with a Gateway army. He's being outscaled. Phoenix is doing what they can. But again, herO, he never worked with he never worked towards Archons, his own Immortals. I can see a world where herO tries to rush into Disruptor here. Maybe. Oh. Gets into the main. 9 to 10 probes. Okay. Okay. Nice damage. Harassing the hell out of Classic. Yeah, dives in, gets 11 probe kills. Robo still on the way. Classic still has a terrifying army, and here he comes. Remember, this third base is just for show. The probe count is actually very low. It's a very low probe count. He's pulling out of gas. Classic is all in. So the supplies look in favor of herO, but remember, a lot of the supply are in workers. Classic just has 1 push in him. 1 push, 1 assault. Zealot's taking it in. Nice lifting on the Immortals. Very nice lift. Ooh, the Prism goes down, denies the warp in. And now we can focus on the Immortals. We can focus them down. Ooh, as Adepts, they try to break on through. We're running out of Stalkers. Immortals, it looks like they're being focused down, just barely. And every Immortal falls. They're losing all 3 Immortals, and with that Classic, he's out of steam. GG gets called. herO does hold, and herO takes game number 2. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Very impressive harass there by herO towards the end. Even though we had Classic building up into the all-in, he lost, what was it, 11 probes? He lost like 11 workers to the Phoenix and Oracle harass, which stifled his all-in, which slowed him down. Remember, time is of the essence. Like, the longer the game went on, the better it was for herO, because Classic wasn't getting ready for a longer game state. I was concerned with the lack of splash damage, lack of Archons, lack of tech for herO, but Classic, his economy was stifled and he just didn't really have as many reinforcements as he needed. Likewise, nice lift. Right, Phoenix, they picked up every single Immortal. GG. GG, well played. The Immortals, they were a non-factor in that final fight. And with that, herO's up 2-0. He's up 2-0, and I'm hoping for a longer back and forth. I mean, the inner StarCraft enemy wants a game 4, wants a game 5, but alas, the pressure is on. We're getting into that final game, potentially final game of the series. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1, leading the series 2-0. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player. The red Protoss himself, the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Let's go. Let us go. So players are setting up. Classic going for the max, going for the low ground wall off. Oh boy. So Classic is setting up at least for a greedy build. He could try to pull a fast one on us and could try to divert and try to switch gears and go into a different kind of setup, but for the most part is showing off. He wants to be greedy, he wants a faster Nexus. And here he will confirm. And typically the response to this is a 1-base all-in, typically. So far we have 2 gateways back at home, 2 get open out of herO. Classic, it looks like he's going to be forced into the Cyber Core. Oh, he wants an Nexus. No, he's being so greedy here. He's going gate expand. Yeah, gate expand, hyper greed out of Classic. Bam. There it is. Gate expand. This is one of the greediest builds you can go for. Very greedy build. And herO goes back down to low ground. He will confirm the faster Nexus. And he has to punish this. Again, he sees how late the Cyber Core is. You can see Classic, he does give chase. He knows that there's a high chance herO throws down a pylon. Yep, there it is. There's a pylon. Classic confirms. So here he's going for the 1-base all-in proxy pylon in the face of Classic. In the face. With the Chrono and the Zealot, this pylon's going to go down. Like herO, he's going to be rallying Stalkers across the map, but there's going to be a second pylon. So we should be seeing a second pylon here. As the first Zealot is under fire. Oh, going for the battery. Okay, bold move. But we need that second pylon. There it is. Second pylon has been thrown down. And the Stalker should arrive in time to save that second pylon. Not the first, though. First, let's pull that supply blocks. Supply blocks herO. Classic has the high ground. Oh, yeah, I mean, I should say high ground vision is provided here by the proxy. Battery's almost done for both players. Oh, the battery versus battery. Let's go. But one has the NG overcharge. Yeah, one has the overcharge. Our third Stalker has arrived. Remember here, he has more production. He has extra gateways. Takes down the Zealots. There's the overcharge. And here, trying to maintain this position. Ooh, does decide to maintain. Stalker goes down. Miscontrol at a herO. It does miscontrol. Remember, every Stalker counts this early on. So we had a third pylon. We had a third pylon. Sentry is available with the force field. Same for herO. Oh, force field. Okay, does force field. Locks him in. Does try to lock him down. Takes out one of the Stalkers. One Stalker left. No shot. Yeah, one Stalker remaining. The Immortal is almost out, but this army should be cleaned up. And now it's just the Immortal. Now just the Immortal here. And Classic has to be so careful about the potential force field. He's got to respect it. Warp gate is not done. Can it be denied? 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4. Warp gate is denied. Massive pickup. Oh, it's so close. It's denied. 1 second away. Locks down the Immortal, and with that, herO's done it. herO, he has done it. He has broken the Immortal. There's nothing left. There's one more Immortal on the way. But too much momentum in favor of herO, and we were expecting, I was expecting it back and forth. The game 4, game 5, he depowers the Robo. GG gets called. Less than a second away, and herO will claim the series 3-0, becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. Ay. GG, well played, congratulations herO. He will claim the series. Classic being hyper greedy here, going gate expand, and herO responding with the proxy in the face, Pappy, in the face of Classic. And it was close, it was very, very close, but again, did you see those timings? herO, it was 1 second, felt less than a second before Warp Gate finished, and Warp Gate was denied. Same with that, the Immortal as well, where we were 1 second away from the Immortal spawning out, but barely was denied as well. Very close, very clutch out of herO to be able to break through that natural base, to bait the army a little bit further forward, to be able to lock him down with those force fields, and of course to break that position before Warp Gate could finish, and also before the Immortals could amass up as well. GG. Whew, GG, well played, congratulations here to herO as he does claim the series, and again, strong showing here when it comes to our PvP. Again, often Classic and herO, they go back and forth. It's very, very common to see them go back and forth. So we do begin the week off here with herO taking down Classic in the Tuna Cup, and we could see Classic take down herO like in the WarTV Monday or the Monday Night Weekly or Pegastar Cup, which is tomorrow, and we often have that back and forth. But GG. For this tournament, for this event, herO claims the 3-0. Does take that more dominant position. Congratulations. Again, my condolences to Classic, but again, he also did make it to the finals, right? I don't want to take away from Classic's achievements here, because what did Classic do? Well, Classic, he 2-0'd ByuN, right? When it came to, he also, when it comes to his achievements, he won the random raffle. So who's the real winner? True. Did win the random raffle. But he did 2-0 ByuN in the semi, so he had a strong showing. It's just that herO, he is like, again, on par with Classic, and PvP can be very chaotic. Again, we didn't get a single macro game. Technically, we had third bases in game 2, but there was no macro intended there. Like Classic, he was 2-base all in. Like, he was not probing. He was not probing at all. So the third base was just for show in game number 2, and again, very chaotic. Very, very chaotic. GG, well played. Whew. GG, well played. Just catching up in the chat. The raffle win is all that matters. True, true. Just catching up in the chat. Hashtag raid. Exactly, exactly. 7 links, 3 queens, and hope. So I was just catching up with the YouTube chats. But with that, we're going to be wrapping up. With that, we're wrapping up here for the day. So I hope you all enjoyed the event. Hope you enjoyed the StarCraft. Again, for those who are maybe tuning in for the first time, this is a weekly tournament. Every single week we have the Sparkling Tuna Cup. And again, we've been running this weekly Open Cup longer than any other Open Cup out there. Longer than the Wardy TV Monday or the Monday Night Weekly or Pigstar Cups. We've been running this for many, many years. And of course, we'll continue to run this for more years to come. If you want to help support the longest running Open Cup in StarCraft, you can do so via Patreon. Exclamation mark. Bam. Exclamation mark Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund these tournaments on a regular weekly basis. Un momento here as I need to set up the overlay. Bam, there we go. There we go. So as you can see, these are the tournaments that we run. We have the Sea Duckling Open, which is a Bronze to Diamond monthly tournament. We have the Masters Swan Open, which is a Bronze to 4.7k MMR, which is around Masters 2. Sorry, Bronze to Masters 2 monthly tournaments. And we have the Tuna Cup in the middle there, which is the Open Weekly. The Open Weekly, open to all players, of course. So we have this kind of like stepping stone, kind of like tournament progression system here from one into the other, of course, to help motivate players to improve and to get better at the game and to excel, of course. We do have a couple of key players that we actually casted many, many years ago that were diamonds that eventually became, you know, pros, that got up, that kind of built up through the ranks. One of the players that comes to mind is Baby Marine. We casted him back when he was diamond. That was many, many years ago. Who else comes to mind? Baby Marine. I want to say, was it Mixu? I think it was, I was going to say Fiant, but no, not Fiant. I think it was Mixu. The other that comes to mind is GG Machine. That's true, GG Machine. We casted him back many, many years ago when he was underage, I think. He was also diamond. True. Ruichi, of course, Starduck, Oreo, and a couple of others as well. It's not like every player that we cast in the diamond tournaments eventually hits GM, but every now and then we find a diamond in the rough. No pun intended, but we find a diamond in the rough who is motivated to compete, to improve, and to go further into Masters and into eventually GM and potentially even further than that. To have a handful of those players. But GG, well played. With that, we're going to be wrapping up here for the time being. Likewise, when it comes to our weekly schedule, I do need a moment here. Bam! You can see that we just wrapped up with our Tuesday evening broadcast of Tuna Cup. Now, when it comes to our schedule, we're going to be live with Pigstar Cup tomorrow, Kung Fu Cup, Wardy TV Monday, the Podcast, KSL, RSL, the Platinum StarCraft League. We do have a pretty busy schedule, but I'm a little bit tentative on this schedule. I mentioned this previously, but I do have some pet bunnies. Do have a pet bunny, and we did have an emergency over the weekend, and I did get my pet bunny Chi-Chi back today, like a couple of hours ago, just before the cast, and of course they take priority. So there is a chance that some of these, we might be shuffling this around a little bit, and one morning or one evening I might not be available. That's also why we didn't cast both semis this tournament. We only casted one semifinals because I didn't have as much time available to dedicate, of course, to the cast. Same with Pigstar Cup tomorrow. I might be a little bit late to Pigstar Cup. Might be a little bit late there. But we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Regardless, this is the current tentative schedule for the rest of the week. Pigstar Cup, Kung Fu Cup, Wardy TV Monday, Podcast, KSL, RSL, and more to come. And more to come. Oh boy, again, we have a pretty busy schedule for the rest of April coming into, sorry, for the rest of March coming into April. It's very, very, very busy, and hopefully we're able to catch up, and hopefully everything goes well with our pet bunnies, hopefully able to recover. Hopefully, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys most likely tomorrow. Again, I should be able to cast Pigstar Cup, but I might just be late. I might be like an hour late or something. Just as a heads up. Otherwise, you should be there. Otherwise, you can also support us in other ways outside of Patreon socials. You know, we do stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, and also Soup and Kick and Facebook. So you can check out streams wherever you so please, and also check out the VODs over on YouTube. Exclamation mark socials or YouTube in the chat. VODs are uploaded on a daily basis. They're all available instantly under the live tab. So plenty of content over on YouTube. That is the place to be if you miss a cast. If you're like, I want to watch the Wardy TV Monday, or I want to watch the podcast or KSL or RSL, then do check out the YouTube channel. It's all there. It's all there. When it comes to the podcast, it's a big week for news, mate. It's a big week for news. For those who maybe are not aware as to what's been happening over the past 24 hours, we have some big news regarding StarCraft and the development of StarCraft. Big news regarding NetEase and the Chinese client, the Chinese server. For those who are unaware, NetEase, they have been actively, they have a development team for StarCraft. They have a separate dev team, and they've been actively working on the game, which is why they got their own updates, which is why we got the herO portrait, for example, which is why the arcade became available again. For those who don't know, there has been an active dev team working on StarCraft over on the Chinese client, and they got those updates first, and eventually those updates came to the global version of the game. But there aren't even rumors, there's just fact. They released like a poll. They released a poll to the Chinese community asking what they want. And there were some very interesting kind of questions posed. And one of the big things, and I guess we'll talk more in depth about this during the podcast this week, later on Thursday. One of the things that was asked was whether the community was interested in unit rotations. Apparently, this is something that SE Boy were really interested in having unit rotations as a part of the main season. What does that mean? So in my mind, it's like, for example, think of like the co-op, I don't know, or think of like Hyperion, think of like what's not the Vulture, think of like the Diamondback units, for example. The idea of, for one season, Terran, they don't have a Cyclone, they have like the Diamondback. For one season, say we have Infested Terran return, right? Oh god. For one season, maybe we have the old Swarmhurst. For one season, maybe we switch out a couple units and we introduce like the Devourer instead of the Viper, for example. Maybe for one season we switch out the Mothership when we get the Arbiter, right? Like that's currently the question that's being asked, and the polling that's being done to the Chinese community regarding the Chinese development team on StarCraft. And depending on what they say, like there's a lot in the works in regards to that. So like that came out like less than 24 hours ago. That's crazy. So the idea of, and we'll see if they're receptive to that. Again, I know that there's some pushback from the community. I know that there are some community members that don't really like the idea of messing with 1v1 that much. And messing around too much with those units, but there are others that are like, you know what, just mix it up, Bappy, you know, like let's just shake it up, you know. So there's definitely like some conflicting kind of ideas when it comes to the direction of the game and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, whether like that should be, whether that's how the game should be handled, or try to keep it with like minimal patches and more like Brood War-esque, right, with like minimal patches, minimal updates, and just update the ladder system. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting discussion that's being had at the moment. Blink the Stalker, Dragoon, yeah, for example, right, like switching out the Stalker and giving the Dragoon for a season. When I say season, I'm talking about the ladder season, of course, and this is specifically regarding to updating the game and implementing this into the 1v1 ladder, or I guess the ladder period, because I guess it affects like team games as well. StarCraft 3? No, not StarCraft 3. Not StarCraft 3. But apparently, like NetEase, they've been doing this with World of Warcraft. If you're into World of Warcraft, you might have heard of this. They've got like the Titan system or something. But like apparently, the Chinese version of WoW has its own like unique seasonal system that isn't in the global version of the game. And apparently, like a bunch of people, like a bunch of international, like global streamers and players like actually made Chinese accounts to play on that, to play on the Chinese WoW version. So like they're doing that in other games as well, and I believe they stated that they were going to do that for like WoW, for Warcraft, for StarCraft, Warcraft 3, I mean, for StarCraft 2, and maybe Overwatch. I think they spoke. No, sorry, Diablo. That's it. For Diablo, they're doing their own thing as well. So yeah, it's interesting. It's exciting. Exciting to hear, it's exciting to see, and we'll see kind of what comes of it. We'll see what what the polling dictates and what they decide on. That wasn't the only thing that was being asked of the community. I think they have some other things, other questions, but again, we'll discuss a little bit more during the podcast. We'll discuss it more then. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time for some more StarCraft. Until then, ciao, bye, ciao, hasta luego. See you next time.